Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Vinton, Virginia, what at first appears to be a murder-suicide gets much more complicated when it's determined to be 100% murder. But that door just leads to more dark hallways. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We are very excited. We've had quite a run lately.
It's been fun.
Of absolute insanity and weird shows. This case today was one where I'm like, I found it, and I'm like, this is pretty straightforward. Yeah. We're going to, we've been really going through a lot of paths, and I'm like, this is going to be straightforward. It's crazy and weird, but at least it's straightforward. And then, no, it's not, as we'll get into. There's
the coaster has another tunnel.
So much more where I'm like, yay, and then I'm like, shit, this is going to, then I have to look at all this, but it's okay because once it's all together, it's all for you, and you're going to love it, everybody. I'm telling you right now. Thank you for everything this week. If you haven't yet, please help out the show. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. That purple icon. We don't know why.
No.
We don't know why that helps, but it helps drive us up the charts. So, you know what? Be a good person out there.
It's easy.
It's easy. It takes you 30 seconds. Trust me, it took way longer to do this till 6:30 in the morning today. So check on that. Do that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder. Crime and sports has been, like we said, as insane as this. We've just been digging up insane stuff lately, so check out Crime and Sports over there. Also, check out P.S. I Hate This Movie, where we make fun of bad romantic comedies and drive me insane. Make me watch things I don't want to watch, but I do anyway. Do all of that stuff, and keep hanging out with us. We have a live show coming up, everybody, a virtual live show.
Oh, great.
We are going to do this. We've decided on it. The date is the Thursday, the 29th of October, right before Halloween. Right. So it'll be good and creepy, but we're going to do, good and gross. It's going to be the all violent felon edition of the Prisoner Dating Game, doing a virtual live show so you can see all these people. You can see Jimmy's reaction when I tell him what they did after he chose them. More information on that coming very, very shortly here, we swear. And also, if you want to be a producer of the show, and you know what? One of our heroes, one of our good friends who we love, you can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crime and sports, and we have tons of bonus stuff. Last week was the white trash defense of Phillips, Oklahoma, and we got into it and found the source material that they based it on, and it wasn't so much making fun of them as making fun of this person for using this as a defense of some kind. It's pretty hilarious, so check that out, and crazy personal ads on the Crime and Sports one. You get access to all of that stuff, anybody at the $5 level. Once again, patreon.com/crime and sports. If you just want to be a good person, one of our really heroes, because all you're getting is a shout out. Jimmy's going to mispronounce your name at the end of the show. You can go over to PayPal, make a donation there using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Quickly, the disclaimer, it's a comedy show.
It is.
This is a comedy show. We're going to make fun of things. We're going to make fun of small towns. We're going to make fun of like a police force that lets somebody go free for 20 years, things like that. The festivals, bands we've never heard of playing at a small town festival in a park somewhere, that sort of thing. And the small towns. Look, everybody's from a small town. Everybody's from somewhere that sucks. You can't tell me that there is a small town in this country that cannot be made fun of. I know where I'm from, we make fun of it like crazy. Where you're from, you make fun of it like crazy. Where we live now, we all make fun of it like crazy. So relax. We all do it. We all make fun of it.
Everything sucks.
We're roasting towns. That's the point. We're roasting it. It's like if you go to a Don Rickles show in 1975, you're not like, I don't enjoy that he called me a hockey puck. It's fun. We're having a good time here. And there's murder. There is murder. The show's called Small Town Murder, but try to make a little bit of light around it just so it's not so dark and so just heavy on the whole thing. But I mean, there is gross stuff that happens. We're going to make fun of a lot of other stuff. We're going to go out of our way not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families. Why is that, Jimmy?
I would like to know.
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
There you have it.
That's how it works. So if that sounds good to you, oh my goodness, are we going to have a good goddamn time. If you don't think that's good and you don't think that's bad, true crime and comedy should never go together, maybe don't listen.
It's not for you.
Maybe give it a shot and it's not so bad.
There you go.
But if you're ready for it, I think it's time to sit back, clear the lungs, and shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
All right.
Let's go on a trip. We're coming from the west last week in the mountains in Utah.
That's right.
Holiday and also Phoenix, as we mocked Phoenix unmercifully.
That was an unbelievable story.
That was a wild. This is
got away with it for so long.
That's what's crazy about. Well, this is even kind of weirder in a way here. We're going to Vinton, Virginia. It's central, like kind of western Virginia, just outside Roanoke. It's like a suburb of Roanoke. It's about 3 hours to Richmond, about 2 hours and 15 minutes to Edinburgh, Virginia, which was the sun-powered killer episode, our last episode there.
How long ago was that?
A little over a year ago.
My word.
So, it was a while ago. We're coming back, making a swing back through Virginia here. This is in Roanoke County, area code 540. It's 3 square miles, the whole town. It's a small town, kind of, like I said, in a burb. Now, the motto here, I'm going to talk about this because Virginia, their motto is Virginia is for lovers. Okay, which is ridiculous, number one.
Dumb.
Now, this town's motto, when coupled with that, really makes it strange because Virginia is for lovers, and then this town's motto is, are you in?
Yet. ...
Ouch, not there. Wrong hole. What the hell? What are we talking about? Are you in?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Is that real?
That's real.
Are you in?
Are you in?
They can't do that.
Virginia is for lovers. Is it in yet? Stick it in me. What are we talking about?
Who came first there? Well, that's gross.
Does it matter? Does it matter who came first? Either way, you'd go, well, we can't do that because they're doing that.
Right.
I don't care if you're the state, the town. No, someone's got to.
Somebody made a bad choice.
Yeah,
I think both made a bad choice.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Either one is bad.
Yeah.
I guess Virginia's for lovers are trying to always, because on the East Coast they play the commercials all the time, like in New York. They're trying to get people to go there on vacation. In New York, you're always like, what are you going there for?
Come down here and fuck. Is that what they're saying?
That's what they're saying, basically. Jeez. It's like, no, you're going to either go like up to the mountains, you're going to go all the way down to like the Florida or the beach or somewhere like that.
Stop in the middle and ruin a hotel.
Stop in the middle of a, most where everything's landlocked except for Virginia Beach. That's the only place it's not.
Come on over
with cities.
Be gross here.
Be gross here. Why not? Hey, everybody. Leave your used condoms strewn throughout our streets for our children to find.
Drive to Florida and stop here on the first night.
That's right. Be disgusting. Defile our hotels and then we'll wave you away. Bye. We encourage it.
Shit,
are you in? Okay.
What the fuck, Virginia?
I don't know what's happening with Virginia, man. So, Vinton, this town was incorporated by the Virginia General Assembly in March of 1884. They had a population of 584, and then it really kind of blew up from there and started going quickly. It's everything here kind of has to do with Roanoke because we're right outside of a city, so it's kind of everybody kind of does all their things in Roanoke and shit like that.
Capital, yes.
Roanoke, Virginia, yes.
Okay.
So the farmland was made available for development after that. As much of this was farmland, and then also kind of land speculation started happening where people were buying up large swaths and trying to do some real estate stuff here.
Agreed.
With the woods.
Yeah.
I love when they do that. Places that are like, well, you could just build anywhere around here. Phoenix, they'll do that.
Yeah.
I bought this big swath of desert. Great.
Of course you did.
And what's the difference between that desert and the desert over there?
Right.
It's the same. It's just flat dirt that's hard and has dust blowing. Oh, yours is slightly less. It's slightly a different shade of tan than that dirt. Terrific.
You ever drive between Flagstaff and Phoenix? There's so much area that they could have put Phoenix that is so much nicer.
You could just put stuff out there. No one would even notice it for a while.
Right.
You could live there for 10 years and they'd be like, when the fuck did this? This is my property. When this house goes, there's nothing out there. No one would notice.
So much room, and there's so much better. I don't know how they landed here, and we're like, fucking yeah.
The mountains were there, and they were like, well, we can't possibly make trails all through that. It's going to be difficult. Lazy bastards. Figure out asphalt earlier, dicks. I live in a fucking sun bowl. What is happening? Could be living on a mountain, looking down on this shithole going, man, it looks hot down there.
Yeah, it does.
Woo. People are cooking down there. So much better up here. Holy fuck.
Oh.
So,
whoever did it, you're an asshole.
Yeah,
you
thanks
did this
a lot.
to me and you're dumb.
So, apparently money would come and go quickly here because these people would dump, like the land was going up and down in value of this speculative market, and people were like coming with a shitload of money buying all this land, and then it'd be worthless in 2 months and they'd be broke. And then someone else who got land when it was nothing because their grandfather owned it and now they have it and they're rich for some reason, and it's a disaster. So land and housing costs ended up going down and down and down after a while. And many of the people who ended up purchasing here were employees of the Norfolk and Western Railway Company. And that was kind of, this is the time when I guess Vinton had a reputation as like a blue collar town. They call it a working man's town, like around there. Like people lived here and there, but that's kind of, if you were like a rail guy or like an iron worker or something, you lived in Vinton.
Okay.
It's like Pittsburgh.
We got it.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh, Virginia.
Got it.
We got here, miniature Pittsburgh without all the fucking bridges. No, they don't have individual bridges there, which is good. So it's kind of changed. This change comes slow in this area, by the way. Which Virginia actually, in certain places, Virginia is not like, it's not behind at all. Virginia, when you think of Virginia, like there's the rural areas, and then the cities are like cooking. Like there's stuff going on there.
They should make West Virginia change their name.
That's what they really should. If I'm Virginia, I'm suing. I'm just suing. Like, I'm sorry. It's bad for
You're ruining us.
We're telling people it's for lovers, for Christ's sake. Look at this shit. You're producing that. Who wants to fuck with Mamie White hanging around with Kirk doing lines off the back of a toilet? That's not romantic. We can't have this. People confused.
Yeah.
It's no good.
They figure there's just a bunch of Subob with the titties running around here.
I'm the sexiest of the White family.
I'll make the bukus and bukus.
I used to make $3,000 a night stripping. Oh, okay.
I think
of course you did.
Pesos.
I think she meant fucking cents.
Right.
I used to make 3,000 cents a night stripping. That's how the people pay me in pennies. They you know, when people snap their fingers and shoot it, that's how they send them to me.
I get solid copper dollars.
Solid. I got a lot of scars on my forehead from that. People are good aim down here, I'll tell you what.
I get these Abraham Lincoln copper dollars.
3,000 of them a night. I'm a rich woman. So in 1970, a lot of industries started coming. And in 1917, the American viscose plant opened near Vinton. And that was a lot of jobs.
Yeah?
So viscose. That sounds disgusting.
That's a terrible named business. I don't care what it is.
It sounds like an oil additive because I hear viscosity in that. So it sounds like something slimy that's added to something not slimy enough.
Or it's something edible that just gives heart attacks.
Oh, that might be it too. Yeah, it could be like they're making country crock over there or something.
Right. Before margarine came out, we would smear viscous on the bread.
We'd smear viscose made at the plant. Here's a viscose on toast. You never had that?
You never had viscose?
Toast, you called it back in the day. It was good. Boy, you put a little scrapple on it, you got something else there, boy.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ, that's disgusting.
That's awful.
Also, Burlington Mills, now known as Precision Fabrics Group, was established in 1936. There was a mill here as well that was refurbished and over time. So it became like a real blue collar. You could find a job in a factory type of place. You know, if you had you graduated from high school or had a GED or something, you can go there and make like a living wage.
Right.
And so it was a different time, when you could do that.
It's trade work.
It's trade work. Right. Yeah. Up until the 70s, people would do it. They got out of high school, go work at a steel mill and make like an adult salary.
Right.
When they were
making $75,000 a year and they're like 18.
They were in high school 2 weeks ago and they're making like what people have kids and shit and like a car and vacations on. And you're like, what the shit? So I found, the Vinton Fuel Company is another place that was here, which you obviously want to have a fuel company in town.
That's helpful.
So I found some reviews of this place, and they're varying, we'll say. There's definitely a difference of opinion on this town all around it. So here is one. It's a 3-star, and it's telling us, quote, Vinton is a cute small town in Virginia inside of Roanoke County. The school in Vinton's William Byrd High, the school in Vinton is William Byrd High in the middle school, along with 2 elementary schools. Thanks for the rundown of schools. Jesus Christ. W.E. Cundiff and Herman L. Horn. Oh, those are the elementary schools. Vinton doesn't have much, but there is still stuff to do. It's a very friendly area and has a bunch of cute festivals and good places to eat.
What's with all the cute?
We're going to talk about the cute festivals. Yeah. Here's one. They don't quite agree.
No.
2 stars, quote, outdated and snobby. Very little to do and very few opportunities. Most of the people here are also incredibly small-minded. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then I found a 1-star. This person really doesn't like this fucking place. This is, I think I wrote this from a small town. 1 star, quote, streets are very littered. Homeowners have no obligation to keep property up. Taxes are over the top. No quiet zones in the library. Panhandlers at the shopping center. Trash cans left on the street. Oh, is this like a series of haikus? So what the fuck are we doing? Trash cans left on the street all week long.
Yeah.
All week long, Jimmy. They're leaving them out there. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
A trash can on the street? Trash doesn't belong. Oh, wait, no.
You got to tuck that away.
Go. Yeah, hide it.
Yeah, until the trash man comes.
You got to bring it 3 feet into the inside of your yard.
This person would really love an HOA.
It sounds like they're about to start one. I'm telling you here. Also, I would say trash cans left on the street all week long. Water bills, very unfair to single person. Water bill. Everything from no quiet zones in the library to the water bills are unfair. This person's really studied this.
What is he talking about? No quiet. Every library
flow chart.
The whole library's a quiet zone.
Apparently not now. Apparently it's
marching band walking through.
Apparently now most libraries are 75% homeless masturbatory centers and then 25% quiet zone, and they're saying this one is 100% homeless masturbatory, so it's different. I guess. I don't know.
Virginia's for lovers, and our hotels are all full, so we just let them stop in the library now.
Virginia's for lovers, but the library's for jerking. That's how it goes now. So, Jesus. And, okay, on-street parking on very narrow streets. That's ridiculous. This town is going downhill. Property values are not so good. Leaving is hard. Once it was a nice town. Yeah. So apparently it's gone to real shit.
It's falling apart.
And that was 2019. That was the most recent of the reviews.
That's all your complaints?
That's the complaints. That's
go to the south side of Chicago and see how much you like Virginia again.
Town sucks. Tell you what. I don't know. Yeah, go to some places that are tough. Go to
go see where fucking violence is happening.
Go to like Brazil or something. Right. There's some bad stuff going on.
I'm just thinking of
Venezuela.
A tougher area of the U.S.
Oh, just a tougher than that. Yeah. So this town has steadily increased population from 1960 to 1980. It basically tripled in population. So it's somehow, I guess, suburban times. That's when people were leaving cities in the 60s. People right now, population 8,069 people. So not a big town. Not a small, little, tiny town, just kind of right in the middle. Up 5% since 1990. Male, females, about right and kind of normal. Median age is just about right. It's about 38, but there is a shitload of old people here.
Really?
It is a lot. Way more 75 to 84-year-old people and twice the amount of 85 and over people as normal.
Okay.
So it is just...
Did they just make a life for themselves and they don't want to leave, or are they moving there?
I think they're not leaving. This is old people that are staying, and there's a bunch of kids there too that kind of balance it out, and young people and old people. We've had this before. I don't know if the elderly people are having the babies.
Yeah.
If they are, Virginia is definitely for lovers.
It's a bunch of Jack Nicholson from As Good as It Gets that just don't like change.
Yeah, that's probably what it is here. So it's about 50-50 on the married, like usual. Most of the stats are pretty kind of normal to small towns. There's more single people with children. Other than that, though, it's pretty normal because there's a higher divorce rate for some reason here. Race of this town, 85% white, 6% black, which is about half the normal in the country. What do we have here? 4.4% Asian.
Yeah.
So almost the average. And then 2.7% Hispanic, which is pretty low. It's normally 17.5%.
Yeah.
Very low, especially if you live in Phoenix. You're like, huh? What? That's weird.
Not a single Filiberto's.
No. Excuse me, where is your Filiberto's? Which is a little like kind of a stand.
It's clearly it's a money laundering outfit. It's got to be.
It's with delicious burritos.
Unbelievable burritos.
It's this little like hut that that they have 5 million of in Phoenix, and you either drive up or walk up to the window, and you can sit at a table outside.
Whichever you're equipped with.
Yeah, a couple of them.
Or a car.
A couple of them have chairs, and they all, anyone that you can go inside, they all have that bubbler thing going with like different fluorescent.
Red, white, and a brown.
And a pale pink. Right. You're like, is that like watermelon semen? Right. What's in that? That's disgusting. It's too cloudy pink.
And if you do happen to go inside and get food and sit down, you will not see a soul until you leave, and then another person will go through the drive-thru. How do you stay open?
I don't know.
With no business?
Because we're not there at 3 a.m. Right. That's why.
The drunk people roll through.
3 a.m. It's blinds to the fucking end. Trust me, I've been there at 3 a.m.
Their fucking dinner rush is 3 to 5 a.m.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, it is. Seriously. Jesus. Like 2 a.m., like Phoenix, the bars close at 2. 2 a.m., by 2:15, you can't get a carne asada burrito in this town. You'll be online for 45 minutes. It's a mess, dude. So 39% religious in this town, which is actually low for the South and just for kind of small towns in general. It's 13% Baptist. Baptists are the Catholics of the South. You're going to get more of those. A few Methodists in there, a couple of Catholics, a Lutheran here and there. 0.0% Jewish. So none of that happening here. 0.0% Islam as well. Nothing going on there.
Real Christian quilt.
Yeah, it's a quilt of similar denominations. Put it that way. So
Jesus tapestry.
It's a virtual tapestry of Jesus. So in this town or in this county, last election, 33% Democrat, 61% Republican, 5% Independent. Unemployment rate here. Well, we don't know now, but before, when things in January of this year, it was 2.6%. Household income's a little bit low. Normally, it's about almost $58,000 $50,000 in the rest of the country. Here it's $44,389.
Okay.
Little bit low, but cost of living isn't very high either, so it kind of makes up for it. Cost of living in Vinton, 100 is, average, regular par. Here it is 88, but the housing is a 70.
Great.
So it's pretty low. Median home cost $163,200.
Oh, yes.
And most of the houses are between $100,000 and $200,000.
All right.
And like we'll see here, you can get a decent house here. You know what? If we've convinced you, damn it, you have no other choice. You have to see exactly why Virginia is for lovers.
Get over it.
We have for you the Vinton, Virginia Real Estate Report. The average 2-bedroom rental in this joint here is about $770 a month, which is well below the national average.
That's awesome.
That's great. It's almost $1,300 nationally, so that's really good. Renting might be the way to go. But I found some houses here. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, but it's a 1,268 square foot house.
Okay.
And it's a little murdery. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. It's a little, I would expect if you were looking through it, like if a real estate agent took you there and she was like, no one's been here in a while, and cracked the door and it creaked open, there would be bodies, or at least chalk outlines of where bodies once were. But for $70,900, what do you want?
I'll drag them out.
I was gonna say, either do that, you can wash off the chalk. You know what I'm saying? I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,708 square foot house. It's really nice. Has an in-ground pool.
Yeah,
the whole deal. Like a nice family house. About $163,500. Like exactly at the average of it. So that's your average home.
That's awesome.
It's not too bad at all. Then let's say you want to stretch out a little. Maybe you own all the Viscose in town.
Hell yeah.
You've been distributing it. I have a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, T-ball for every beehole.
Yes, sir.
That's right. 2,552 square foot house. Very nice. Open, big old porch out front.
I want it.
1.5 acres.
Yeah.
$315,000.
Oh, my God.
And it's like beautiful inside, too.
That
It's
sounds
remodeled.
amazing.
It's really nice. Yeah, you can get a real nice place here for a real reasonable price.
Holy shit.
Compared to the rest of the country.
$300,000 will get you a flop house in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, you're getting garbage.
It's either in Phoenix proper and it's a piece of shit.
It's in a neighborhood where you're like, those are gunshots, right? And then I heard screaming after the gun, not just distant gunshots.
Somebody said call 911.
It's like my old neighborhood that I lived in, where it was down the street from a methadone clinic, and it was fucking wild. Oh boy, I'm telling you, it was something else.
It is a nice place.
The house wasn't bad, but that wasn't the point. Like, where it was like, why is this house here? The house wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It was like a nice little house.
Yeah.
And it was, for some reason, in a fucking awful area. So very, very scary. So, but this here, I don't know. Now $315 though. That's really good for
That's doable.
And an acre and a half.
Yeah.
Though. That's the thing. Like the house itself is nice, but then an acre and a half, you can stretch out.
You don't have to see your neighbors, James.
That's beautiful. That's a selling point for me right there.
Absolutely.
It's nice. Things to do here. Oh boy. I found the Vinton Fall Festival.
Oh, I love fall.
Oh, we know it. This has been going on since 2001, and I'll tell you, they upped it a little bit in 2019. But normally, it's activities throughout the day. They include a 5K run. I love a 5K run. That's not fun. No one wants to do that. Okay, I get that you're raising money.
Yeah.
Why don't we all just go? Can we all just pitch in $5 and then we'll do something else? We don't all have to fucking run. Why are we going through this motion if we're just doing it to give money to these people? Why?
We were going to pay $25 and run. Let's pay $5, not run, and everybody pulls $20 and we get a pizza party.
That's it. Let's do that. Better. We'll throw these people a pizza party. They'd probably appreciate it more than watching us run.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds terrible.
I did one of those in Texas when we went and it was awful.
And a bunch of 55-year-old guys dropped dead of heart attacks along the way. We don't need that shit. Race, they have crafters and a business showcase, concession and food vendors, agricultural judging. They'll judge your agriculture.
I don't like that at all.
Your fields are awful, sir.
Call this lettuce and they kick it.
No good. Your corn? I spit on your corn. And they throw it to the ground. Your asparagus makes me want to throw up.
Stomping your pumpkins.
Your rutabagas can suck my dick. You suck. Lots of children's activities, like judging things, carriage rides, a doggy dress-up contest.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm good with a dog parade. Let's do that.
Not a dress-up. Don't torture. They're all miserable.
Right.
And, aren't they cute? Let's torture a bunch of animals for no reason.
Oh, he's a sailor.
Yeah, is this for charity? Right. Can we just chip in on this, too?
What if we chip in to have you not do this to your fucking poor animal?
I'll tell you what, we'll give you all the money from the 5K if you don't do this to your animal here. Now, they teamed up in 2019 with the Big Lick Oktoberfest, which seems like these two would not go together, but they do. Now they have a shitload of beer and bands and all sorts of other stuff, too, mixed in with
the Big Lick?
With a doggy dress-up. Yeah, Big Lick Oktoberfest.
Oh, like the lick of a guitar.
Yeah,
right?
and then, I think so. Yeah. Or it's for lovers, so who knows?
Get over here.
No idea at this point. They also have stilt walkers.
Oh, no.
I would love to see one of those guys fall. I'm sorry. I know that's mean, but that's one of those things where you're like, come on, fall.
Is it mean?
Come on and fall. You just want to see it just because it's like, I don't know.
You're tempting gravity. I didn't do this.
I didn't prop you 30 feet off the goddamn ground. And they look like anything, like, out of the way. I could fall at any moment. You're like, why are you doing this?
Stable.
They don't look like happy.
No.
They don't look like they're having a good time doing it, you know? They look like trapeze people.
I stole my friend's crutches and stood on the handle part of it and walked on those and fell on my ass, and that hurt.
Yeah.
I want to see a guy fucking 15 feet up fall.
15? Shit, they're higher than that a lot of times. Yeah, that's dangerous,
That's horrifying.
So there's that. Let's see. German music by the Wandersman Band.
No.
As well as classic bluegrass by Wound Tight. One word. Wound tight.
All right.
I'm wound tight. Said Southern.
Yeah.
And, of course, German-style beer alongside dozens of amazing vendors and exhibitors, games, and more with the Vinton Fall Festival. Oh, boy, there's going to be a kids zone. Yeah. Kids, everyone's shit-faced now. You got to stay in this zone. This used to be a lot for you, but now it's mainly this zone is where we're going to keep you here.
This is for you.
On the Farmers Stage Market, Wandersman plays from 11 to noon. Jeez, that's a rough set. Wound Tight comes on 12 to 1:45, and then they do it again. 2 sets each. 2 sets each from 11 to 4 this last. Good Christ.
Playing a matinee show.
Yeah. And then I found the Virginia Steak Festival, which is exactly what it sounds like.
Great.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's just a festival. You pay like $40 to get in or something, and then you just eat steak like a fucking monster.
Jesus.
You walk around, it's just vendors having steak in different ways, and a steak sandwich, and slices of steak like this, and it's just meat.
Nobody tell my doctor I'm going to this.
I want that so bad. I would love a steak festival.
That's awesome.
That sounds good. I read that. I'm like, steak festival. It's probably not that. And then I looked at it. I'm like, oh my God, it's exactly what I hoped it was. It's just steak.
It's not like a vampire festival.
No,
and
there's not even bands. It's just steak. They just come in. You're going to be too full to listen to music. You ain't going to be dancing with all that steak in your stomach. I'll tell you what, boy, you're going to.
I don't want you to throw up listening to that horse shit music and waste all this steak.
You like it, start bouncing, you're going to be puking steak all over the place. We ain't got that kind of cleaning materials, so we ain't going to do it. Now, crime rate in this town, what we're interested in, of course, the property crime is a little bit high. It's like 10% over, but nothing crazy. It's in the realm of normal. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is about 20% under the national average.
Great.
So that's not bad. Yeah. A lot of these small towns, we kind of see like more property crime, less violent crime, but there has been some violent crime. And speaking of that, let's talk about a murder.
Great.
Let's do this because, wow, I don't even know what to tell you here. This is wild. Like I said, this was one that I'm like, oh, cool, straightforward. Nope. This is fucking insane.
Great.
So buckle up, everybody. Let's do this shit. Go back in time. Time machine time, Jimmy. Let's do it. We're going all the way back to 1994.
Oh,
yeah. Jimmy's like, that's a good time for me.
That was good.
You're getting caught stealing video games.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. and by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Listening to, what are you listening to right
That
then?
was me skipping. That was, Jesus, there was probably a lot
kind of music you into right then.
A lot of Boys to Men.
You were listening to Boys to Men?
Whatever was on the
radio.
Yeah,
but what were you into?
Bone Thugs was playing. Oh, what I liked.
I looked up the songs from that just to see 94, and the top songs were fucking Ace of Base and
really.
Oh yeah, The Sign was big.
Yeah,
and,
I guess I heard that on the radio
shit
too.
like that. Yeah, Boys to Men had the song. And,
yeah.
This was I didn't.
Belle
listen.
Biv DeVoe was around then too.
They were done by then.
Were they done?
Yeah, that shit was 91.
Shit.
Yeah. That girl is funny.
Right.
It was 91. But after that,
was it when they started to fall off? That's when they got those ABC kids in. Remember those, the little boys that were basically them?
Yeah. No, I guess that was 90. Those dudes came around.
Fuck, man, I don't even know what I would have been. It probably would have been
94.
Motley Crue and stuff. Still,
I would have been into hip hop at this time. Definitely, I would have had. Because this was after Wu-Tang and Nas' first album came out, and Biggie's first album just came out.
Metallica just came out in 94. Black just came out.
90.
Was it
90? Black was because that was 90, 91
was for no
was the Black album.
Really?
Yeah. You were lost. How many drugs did you do during this time? You were 11, 13 years old. Well, what kind of drugs were you doing?
Listen, this is
I was doing drugs.
Yeah, but this is shortly after also, this is just a 3-year gap between a really horrible experience in my life.
That's true. So this might be cloudy.
Yeah, my brain was certainly trying to compress memories at this point.
Well, it is because you just named a bunch of things that happened in 1991,
right.
3 years before this, and you were like, yeah, that's 94, right? You got stuck in a 19...
My timeline's fucked around.
Now we know it's wrong.
From 91 to 95-ish. It was fucked. It's pretty bad. It's pretty ugly.
Are you for what year is it right now, Jimmy? Is it 2017?
It's 2012, somewhere around there.
Oh, wow. That's good times.
And that's honest. I will look at things that I want to buy or whatever, and it's came out in 2012, and I'm like, oh, that's not so old. Holy shit, that's damn near 10 years old. I don't want that.
I don't think that has to do with trauma as much as you're just getting old now. And so I think it's less to do with trauma and more to do with, whoa, boy, how old am I? Fuck, what year is it? Jesus. This sucks.
I just saw a show the other day. The guy's like, I'm pushing 40, and I was like, old fuck. Jesus, that's next.
God damn it.
6 months away.
So am I. Me too.
That's god awful.
Jesus, and then you looked in the mirror. Staring right back at me. Where'd my hair go? What's this in my shirt? Oh, there's my hair. I found it. It's on my back.
Those glasses are awfully thick, sir.
Fuck, man. So this murder here, we're going back in time to 1994, as we've explained. Let's talk about the Hodges family.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about this family. Kind of your kind of a typical all-American family in this little kind of all-American little town. Just one of those deals. William Blaine Hodges is the husband and father. Everybody calls him Blaine. That's no, you never hear a William. That's just, when you see it printed. So Blaine Hodges, he's 41 years old in 1994. He's married to a lady named Teresa, and she is 37 years old.
Attaboy.
There you go, a couple of years younger. And they have 2 daughters as well, and their names are Winter, who is 11 years old, and Anna, was spelled with an H on the end. N-A-A-H, is 3 years old at the time. So, nice little family living in a nice little suburb, and I'm sure seeming to have a decent life that they're happy with for the most part. There's a couple of pickups that we'll talk about. Now, they meet a man, and they befriend a man who ends up kind of hanging out and being like a family friend. This guy Blaine met him in high school, not as a friend. Blaine was on the track team. He was like one of the stars of the track team, and one of his coaches he ends up being tight with later on, and he hangs out with the family. And this is a guy named Earl Conrad Bramblett. Earl Bramblett. He's older, of course. He's a coach. So, they met through the coaching process, and they became friends, basically. Now, Earl's kind of had an interesting life. His family moved around a lot. His dad was an alcoholic. So they were kind of nomadic, and you know how it goes.
Unreliable. Lose a job, move to another town, get another job.
You go to a lot of elementary schools. I've seen it a few times. I've been there. Went to a lot of schools. So it was but the interesting part of it is for him, the effect it had on him was that it made him very quick to make friends and shit like that. There's certain things you pick up as you go to different places.
Professional new kid.
You pick up being funny. And that's the only reason I have a sense of humor is I think you have to, because what else do? You can either start punching people or be funny, So, whatever. So he changed schools all the time, and he was also a very good athlete, Earl, which would also help in school. If you could not know them and you'd be like, oh, he's good at kickball and he's your buddy now. Because he's good at kickball.
Or he's good at anything and we want him on our team.
Exactly. So you want to hang out with him. So, friends, he makes friends in high school. He's not a guy who doesn't have friends. He's not like a loner or anything like that. He has a bunch of friends. He stays in touch with people from high school later on. He can maintain relationships and stuff. So, he's not like anybody that you'd be like, oh, red flags here.
Socially, he's figuring it out.
Yeah, he's fine. You know what I mean? He's absolutely fine. He does have problems, obviously, because of his family being poor and shit like that, and kind of a little bit of a mess. He ends up dropping out of college in California. He's born in South Carolina. His family moves all over the country, after work and things like that. And they end up in California, where he goes to college, but he drops out and ends up moving to Roanoke, Virginia. And that's when I guess his father had moved there, and his brother, he wanted to be closer to them. He takes a job in his father's silk screen printing business, which he owns one of those. And if you're decent at that, you can make good money doing that. Like that's, people overcharge like crazy to make T-shirts.
Boy, do they make money.
To print them, trust us, we know. You buy shit on Threadless, they're great. They're good with customer service and shit. That's why we use them, but we're not getting a whole lot of that. You know what I mean? Like
that's not a crazy profit.
No, really not at all. It's a volume game. Threadless.
Silk screeners.
Yeah, exactly. They probably do. But we don't care, because they take care of you guys.
That's what matters.
If you get like a wrong size, they're like, keep that one and we'll send you the correct one. So,
you get a blanket that has a family you've never seen before? Don't worry.
We've seen that.
We'll get you the right one.
Yeah, and they will. And you can keep the one with the family too, and draw Hitler mustaches on them if you want. I don't know. Who cares?
Hang on to the Yates's fucking blanket.
See that 10-month-old little girl? Draw a nice Hitler mustache on it. There you go. It's yours now. Who cares?
That's incredible.
That would be hilarious.
That's the greatest thing ever about them, is that no matter what you get, if it doesn't match your order, we'll get you the right one, and you get to keep the weird shit that we sent you as a surprise.
That's it. You keep it and you draw Hitler mustaches on it. That's how it works.
Put a cigar in the dog's mouth. It's cute.
It's perfect. It's not bad. My cousin used to always do that to Charmin Charmin packages with the bear.
Oh,
no,
the bear.
He'd just
little cute
he'd
cartoon.
make a Hitler mustache on him, and you're like,
and then just walk away.
He's a Hitler bear now, because he'd like he looked like he was like saying something, but he looked sweet. But if you put a Hitler mustache on him, he looks sinister all the time. Changes everything. You might as well be flipping a nickel and holding onto a toothpick. It's like, now he's evil. It's hilarious that you can make anything evil. A baby, a Charmin bear.
There's 6 million victims in his wake.
That's it right there. It's your brain connects it immediately, and you're like, bad person. So
keep that in mind, Michael Jordan.
Well, not even he. He stopped with that. Yeah. After a while, he's like, now I'm just known as the Hitler mustache guy who has good sneakers and used to play basketball. You know what I mean?
It's awful.
Shit, I got to fucking change that image around again. This is not great.
Why anybody? That's a bad grooming technique in the first place.
It's an odd mustache.
It looks dumb as shit.
It serves very little like purpose that I could practicality.
Zero.
The practicality of it is strange. And on top of that, like your lip is cold still, but you have this thing in the middle.
But you've got 19 hairs right in the middle of your face.
Yeah, I always figured it was for like if you had like a deep
on the lip
fold in their lip, like
canyon there.
Yeah, maybe they put that in there.
I don't know. That thing's kind of cool.
That's not a bad thing.
Great.
Who knows if in a certain time period that was considered
like some sort of extra chromosome because you've got that thing.
Yeah, it means you like cock or something. Like obviously,
we haven't fucked that gene out of our lineage yet.
So we'll cover it up with a Hitler mustache.
The lip canyon.
yeah. Cover your lip canyon up. With what? I don't know. Grow a Hitler mustache. Have some fucking. Have some balls. What's wrong with you?
If Jay Leno didn't fucking grow a beard, then
imagine him doing a monologue. Oh, hey everybody, hey, with a Hitler mustache. How hilarious would that be? Hey, President Clinton today.
Maybe I'd laugh at his fucking jokes finally.
Monica Lewinsky was in the White House with President Clinton. Jay Leno only lives in the 80s and 90s. He passed away in 2000, I feel like.
So,
He was in one of the buildings in 9/11, I feel like. I know he was around forever, but like as anything relevant, he was way not relevant before that, but he was really gone.
From 2002 to present day, I mean, whenever they canceled the show, it was just a Weekend at Bernie's thing.
I think it was. Yeah. They were like, we'll put a Hitler mustache on him. That'll be hilarious.
Put a mustache on him and marionette him. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
We'll keep his audience.
Same stuff. I'm like, have him make president jokes, and it's fine.
The audience won't care.
So his father has a silk screening business, and Earl is very good at it. He's got like a really good aptitude for it. I guess there's ways to be better at it than other people. I don't know how it works, so I'm not sure. I'm sure there's ways that some people are better, some people are worse, but he ends up doing really quality work that his dad's like, holy shit, you're my star guy here. I want you to stick around. But Earl doesn't like to stay at jobs long. Yeah. Earl likes to get up and go, as people who roam as kids tend to be uncomfortable. We've lived in this house for like 2 years now. Mm-hmm. I want to move. I love this house. Yeah. I need, like, my body's telling me to move, even though my brain's like, why are you doing that? But like inside, I'm like, just pack your shit up and go. We need to all move. Tell Sarah we're getting a new place and we're going somewhere. Like, why? This is perfect.
We're living opposite lives at the moment, because as a kid, I was in a house for like 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Then we moved and I was in another one for like 12 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so my fucking life is today. I moved out of the ex-wife's house, moved into an apartment. I was there for 11 months, and now I'm in a house that the lease is almost up.
So and
I got to get the fuck out.
Here, yeah. Whereas I'm like, cool, huh?
Sounds great.
Sounds awesome.
Fuck that. I don't want to talk to movers again.
Oh, it's the worst. So Earl ends up, he quits this job with his dad just because he wants to do different stuff, and he takes a job as an assistant coach at a local high school, which is where he meets Blaine Hodges. Yeah, that's how that goes here. He meets Hodges, and they're it's 2 years that he's his coach basically, and after that Earl ends up going back to his father's business because his father gets sick. Yeah, so he starts running it, and then his father dies, and he takes over the family business of the silk screening. So he hangs out with the Hodges forever. Yeah. Basically, they stay in touch after Blaine graduates from high school, and they're friends. Yeah. And as they go on, they're kind of always in each other's lives. And by 1994, we'll see they're kind of hanging out. Earl's kind of living there half the time.
What the fuck?
It's weird because he's like a transient on purpose.
Yeah,
like he'll have money, but he's like, I'm going to sleep in a trailer in somebody's yard. Like he's just a weird guy. He likes to have freedom. Like he's almost like an Easy Rider character. Like he likes to have freedom, man. Like he's one of those guys. Just like to hit the open road, man. Just don't want to be tied down.
What is that?
I don't know.
It's got to be psychological, right? Because everybody wants somebody, right?
I guess
nobody wants to just be single forever and do whatever they want.
No, some people.
That sounded.
Yeah, nobody just wants to just like live at their own free will. Nobody wants that. No, but like some people had like that transient thing where if he wanted somebody, it would be like somebody to travel with me, to see the open road with me, man, and share the sunsets.
My road dog.
Yeah, I feel like that's more his speed. But anyway, Blaine ends up, like I said, they're buddies and they become friends. The business does well for Earl, the screen printing business. He ends up meeting a young woman and they fall in love and they get married. Would you look at that? So Earl having a normal life here right now. He owns the family business. He inherited the family business. He's married. They end up having 2 kids, 2 boys, Mike and Doug. He doesn't even name them after himself. Solid move.
He goes real simple with them. Yeah. That one's Mike.
That one's Mike.
I want 1-syllable names for these things.
I don't have a good memory.
Right.
Now, I'll tell you what. I'm a nice guy, but I don't have my memory ain't so sharp. Now, everything is fine except for his need to move around.
Yeah.
Once you get married and like you have kids, even someone who you guys wanted to travel together, once you have kids, a lot of times one of those people doesn't want to do that anymore. They're like, this is hard. I want to stay in one place. I want a stable environment for my children. I don't want to go like hop in a van and see the country. That's not really what we're doing with 2 babies.
Not a hunter-gatherer anymore.
Yeah, this is ridiculous now. It's one thing to do that shit when you're 21, but when you got 2 kids, it's a different story. So they end up drifting apart and eventually divorcing because Earl just he wasn't bad. He just didn't want to be tied down.
Yeah.
So, he wasn't mean to his family or anything like that. So he ends up kind of returning to his former lifestyle of drifting and sleeping wherever and working. He's always working. That's it. He's not lazy.
Paying his own way.
He's not an alcoholic either. He's not a guy who's just like a drunken guy who we find he was passed out behind the store. Like, that's not him. He's just flaky.
Got it.
He's flaky, and there's just something about him where you're like, what is up with this guy?
Yeah.
He's a nice guy and everything like that, but there's something he's hiding or something.
Lip canyon about him.
He's got a lip canyon with it. He's hiding it with that mustache. I see it in there. I see it. He's got lint and shit beneath it. I could tell. So he does that, which is, it's not like the guy's going out fucking living a rock star lifestyle anyway. Who does he think he is here?
Yeah.
He's going back to running the printing business, which is in a rundown part of Roanoke.
Yeah.
He's got a rental property that's kind of shitty that he's staying in, and like, hey, who are you? What are you doing?
He's just fine with it.
I need this lifestyle. I just need to make shirts and then do what I want at night.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Just fucking relax.
As a dad, though, you can't do that anymore.
No, that's what I mean. He just
having a milk carton as your nightstand. You know what I mean? Or a milk crate, not a carton. Those don't hold much.
Just a half-gallon sitting there.
I'll set something on it one of these days.
Put my necklace on top of it at night. I put it around it like a neck. Other than that, it just don't hold much.
At some point, you got to get past that and at least have some IKEA next to you. You know what I mean?
Something that you put together poorly.
Have a piece of land that you can say, I worked my whole life for this piece of shit.
One leg backwards on it, but you remember putting it together, so it's okay. You remember putting that leg on backwards. But no, it's not him. And everybody says he keeps in touch with his kids. He's not like a deadbeat dad. Like, he pays child support. He'll send his ex-wife money for the kids. He does his thing. Like, his sons never complain about him that he abandoned us or anything like that. He's just kind of doing his own thing. Now, in the store, he would hire a lot of the teenagers in the neighborhood to run errands and do small jobs at the print shop for a few bucks.
Yeah.
Deliver this over here, I'll give you $5 and shit like that. And it's kind of back in the day, and a lot of times it's teenagers make a few bucks like that, and that counts for them, so they want to do it. And it's it works out for everybody. The parents are okay with it because it's a teenager trying to get a job. Nobody's upset with that. He knew a lot of the older teens. 15 and 16-year-olds are the ones that would kind of run the errands there. He is known to have given alcohol to a couple of them, which is still, we're talking 80s.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if they were
bordering on
but
weird,
we're starting to get. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
We're still in the realm of normal.
Yeah.
We're still in Lip Canyon territory.
Right.
No one's grown a Hitler mustache quite yet.
There's a couple steps from here to how drunk are you? Can I put this in your ass?
There's stubble in his lip canyon right now. It's getting untrustworthy.
Yeah.
Man's got stubble in his lip canyon. Earl, he closes his printing shop at one point and was working on like kind of a job by job basis for a bunch of companies. Like he had a bunch of accounts that he made t-shirts for and kind of closed his shop to the public and just kind of made orders basically for companies. And that's what he was doing, which gave him more freedom to be a nomad and wander. Because, as long as he filled his order and does his work, then, he's got 3 days to piss off, whereas otherwise he's got to be at the shop all day long.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
Right.
That's terrible here. But he also, he made good money when he did the silk screening, too.
I'm sure.
He had a shop and he had things, but he didn't really care about money. As long as he had enough money to survive, that's all he really gave a shit about. Which is a weird thing.
I'm envious of anybody that is
that a great attitude, right?
Yeah.
Imagine having that attitude. Like, it's all going to work out. I mean, I got money in my pocket right now. Tomorrow I'll get more.
I am not that confident myself.
No.
I'm terrified that the next dollar I make is the last one I'll ever make.
It's the last one I'll ever make, and someone will steal it.
Right.
On top of that, I won't even get to spend it or save it or anything. This guy's just like, well, I mean, more where that came from.
Wow.
It's wild. So he would do it. He'd travel. He'd just go out west for a while and come back and do shit. He'd visit his sisters in other states.
Yeah.
He's kind of close to one sister in Indiana, I believe. And he thought this is the way to live. I make enough money to go do what I want. I come back, I make some more shirts, I make some more money. This beats the shit out of 40 hours a week.
He's right.
Oh, he has 2 kids is the issue.
That's a problem.
If he has no kids, hey, this is a great lifestyle.
Awesome.
Fine,
I want it so bad.
That's what I'm saying. That sounds wonderful. But, I don't know. He's just wandering.
I don't know, James.
This looks good.
It sounds great. He's just the casual. James, I lay in bed at night, and when I lay down to go to sleep, I don't fall asleep for 2.5, 3 hours because I'm sitting there anxiety riddled, thinking about how one day I'm going to die and what are my kids going to do? And I'm 39.
They'll be tired of you by then. But
sounds like something I need to talk about my therapist about.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a problem.
I think that's normal. Also,
my chest tightens up. I can't fucking breathe. I'm a mess.
Yeah, that's not great.
I'm losing my mind.
Can I recommend marijuana to you, Jimmy?
I'm telling you,
just like
I am literally a step away.
If I gave you a
so close.
10 milligram edible at night, you would fucking fall asleep laughing.
I'm so close.
You'd be like, "Oh my god, I fell asleep watching Reno 911. I think I might have peed the bed, but it's okay. It's hilarious."
My TV watched all of it.
It's tremendous.
Watched the whole thing.
I can remember some of it.
I got to go back and watch some of those.
Trust me.
I want it. I genuinely
it would help you so much.
I'm in such bad shape.
That sucks.
And it's getting worse.
That's the thing. That's what we all do that shit because the day is the day. But then when you're sitting there, it's like, okay, well now I'm alone with my thoughts.
Right.
That's why I go until I can't keep my eyes open for a second longer. That's the other way to do it. You have to operate like a toddler. You'll just see a toddler like laying down. And it looks like a chalk outline. Like they just, and you're like, is that kid asleep or dead?
Kid just slept where he fell.
They just played until they were like, there's like a toy like 2 inches from his hand where it fell out. That's how I operate.
His legs all curled up next to like a cabinet. And you're like, how did you even do that?
I don't know how they do it.
I want that life. I genuinely need it. And I'm
life of a toddler.
I'm going to have to talk to my therapist. I got to get on something. I just don't, I'm terrified of drugs, man.
I know.
But I got to get on something.
No, we're all, and I've had the same thing because anxiety, as you know, is
oh my God,
a lot for me too. So, but I've always, and we all have these things. Well, what's that going to do to you? What if they put me on something? How's that going to change my personality? Right. We're comedians.
I don't like being numb. That's my problem. That's why I drink, because I don't get numb when I drink. I process things. It slows down my brain and I can think.
Yeah.
That's what I need. And weed does that too, but I just.
It's different. That's crazy.
I got to get into something though.
Yeah. You do need to do something.
I got to get into a mood stabilizer.
I can't do it then, because then I'm like, well, what's going to happen then? Am I going to be like calm? Well, then where the fuck is that going to leave me comedically?
Right.
Like that's
what am I going to do then?
That's my
That's how I make money.
Yeah, that's how I make money. You've seen my act. It's
pretty angry.
It's pretty fucking angry. It's not. If I was just like, I don't know, like it wouldn't be the same. I don't know how I would operate.
Guys, how's your day? Pretty good.
Hey,
mine too.
This place is pretty cool.
What should we talk about?
Hey, all right.
I'm so happy. Are you happy?
What are you eating? That looks delicious. No. I mean, that's a great way to live, but if being sick is your business, that's the fucking problem, and being sick is our business.
Yeah,
so.
But my sick is fucking growing, and that's
and you need to figure that out.
Listen, if my bank account was growing at the same rate as my sickness, I'd be fine. I'd be like, great,
we counteract it.
Keep going. See how far we can go. Get sick before we fucking retire.
Balance it out a little bit, and retire sick. So you want to retire,
and then we'll fix it.
Once I'm retired. That's fucking perfect. So, all right. While Earl is wandering the country, Blaine
living
his dream.
Yeah.
Blaine is at home, and he meets a girl that he's serious about, his future wife, Teresa.
Got it.
And Teresa Fulcher is her name, and they are so close to Earl that Blaine even invites Earl to the wedding. Earl comes to the wedding. He's a family friend, and from then on, after the wedding, Earl was kind of like Uncle Earl around the house. He was kind of around there. He helped Blaine out with stuff. At one point, they paint the house, and Earl says, "Well, I'll paint the bottom part if you'll get the top part, because I don't like heights." And so that's kind of like that. Like he's gonna just help out. Kind of, he stays over sometimes, and he's Uncle Earl basically, just hanging out with everybody there. And he has a key to the house and everything. Like he can come and go as he pleases.
As just a friend that we call Uncle Earl?
Uncle Earl, yeah. He comes and goes, and he stays there sometimes. Yeah. So it's kind of when he's in town, because he doesn't live in town all the time. So Earl was there for him and saw when the daughter was born, Winter, and then when their other daughter was born, he
saw other weird shit too, just by popping in.
Yeah. Hey, how y'all doing?
I could never give anybody a spare key in my house. Yeah. Why is your leg propped up on the counter while you're tugging? What? Yeah, why are you doing that like that? There's not even anybody here. Just go to your room.
Why are you looking at the broccoli? What's wrong with you? You're just focused on it. With a steady, you're not even like going for results. No. It looks like you're just maintaining.
You're just doing
What a weird thing to do. You're idling. You're idling at 3,000 RPMs here. You're just idling. I don't know what you're doing.
Fingers in your belly button? This is bizarre.
All right, that's strange. There you put them. Okay, now that's I've heard of that at least. It's grosser, but I've heard of it. Yeah. At least I know I get it. So Earl is doing his thing. They're doing their thing. Blaine ends up working at the Vinton post office. Yeah. He's a window clerk at the post office. If you went and mailed a letter, that's who you talk to. Teresa stayed home with the kids. Yeah. She's a homemaker, 2 little girls. A lot of shit going on there.
Lives.
Yeah, Teresa's known as a fantastic mother, very much into her little girls and all that sort of shit. And she likes to bake cookies, and they watch Disney movies and all that shit. They're very much a happy little family. Right. Earl here, he spends time it's almost seen as like these kids, he spends time with them because everybody thinks he feels guilty about his own kids. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't spend that much time with his kids, so these are like kind of his proxy kids, like
making up for time lost.
Yeah, and his subconscious thing that people do, and people do that too. They're like, well, I'll be nice to these kids since I was shitty to mine. Right. A lot of times you'll get grandparents that are like that. Well, they're like, well, treated you like shit, but I'll be real nice to your kids. Thanks.
Bill Cosby's this is not the people I grew up with.
The Bill, these are
not who raised me.
These are old people trying to get into heaven now.
Right.
That's what he says.
That's what it is.
These are old people trying to get into heaven. They're not the parents I grew up with.
My ex-wife's stepfather was a monster to his children, and
weird.
He tells my kids that their dad is. He says horrible things about me to my children, and then gives them toys and shit, and gives them nice things to make them like him better.
Well, I mean, there's a strategy in there.
You're
anyway.
A very strange man.
That's a strange guy. I would watch his fingers around the kids. Let's just put it that way.
He's not blood.
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Your dad's a piece of shit. Here's a toy. Is like that's grooming. Don't trust your parents, but I'll buy you something. That sounds like grooming to me.
Don't trust them, trust me.
Yeah,
don't tell them what I tell you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And you'll get toys. Right. That's grooming. That is grooming.
I'm laughing about it. That's horrible.
And I'm laughing.
As soon as we're done, I got to call the cops.
This is hilarious. 911, hello, I have to report. This is very disturbing. So, Earl lived in a travel trailer outside one of the businesses where he worked. Because also, when he stopped doing kind of orders for the screen printing, he'd just do like piecework at screen printing places that would hire him because they knew he was really good at it. So if they needed somebody to do a big order that was complicated and multicolored and layered and all that shit and do it well, you could hire him and you know it's not going to get fucked up, basically. So Earl ends up selling that trailer at some point and paid Blaine to help him deliver it down to North Carolina. They do shit together, these guys. Earl then spends kind of more time at the Hodges. He stays there sometimes, but not all the time. Like he'll go and travel for a few weeks in his truck and he'll come back. He'll, stay with the Hodges for a couple nights and he'll go stay in a motel for 3-4 nights. Then he just doesn't have a solid place to call his own. He lives like a 1960s Hell's Angel. Yeah. Like kind of from couch to couch to cheap motel to cheap motel.
It's either awesome or you're fucking terrified of this man.
That's what I mean. He's either living the dream or watch out and, if you ever see him digging a hole, check it when he leaves. One or the other.
Dream or a nightmare, one of the two.
One of the two. So 1994 comes along and Blaine Hodges gets into some trouble.
Yeah.
Blaine, we never find out why he did this. We don't know if it was what he was into, but he gets in trouble at work for stealing from his drawer.
Oh,
I don't know. At first, I'm like, was he stealing stamps
at the fucking post office?
Yeah, no, he steals money out of the drawer.
Very little money in there.
It's not a lot of cash, I wouldn't think, but I don't know. Yeah, it's shipping. People are paying a couple bucks a pop.
Right.
I don't know, but he stole money. I guess he got caught once and he paid it back and he got a suspension, all this stuff, but they let him stay. Right. And then he got caught again. And so he's actually charged federally with embezzlement of postal funds, which is not terrific. And as of 1994 here, he is sentenced to serve 6 months in prison for embezzlement of postal funds.
He probably be a lot, right?
I mean, I don't even know. I think it's just he did it again. And so
but it can't be at $40 for 6 months in jail. You can't think it'd have to be a lot.
I would. Yeah. How much is fucking a book of stamps worth to somebody in prison? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
he had to have been doing like a pretty consistent amount.
Maybe he had like he was skimming every night. Maybe that could be it. Yeah, because that's you might be right about that shit. So it's embezzlement. I mean, 6 months. He's not going to do 6 months. I'm sure he'll do 2 months or something. But he's not exactly a dangerous felon out there.
It's a fucking federal crime.
But yeah, it's not smart. No. It's just dumb. That's the least reward for the most risk you can do here. Right. You're better off robbing a bank.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you'll have less chance of getting caught, and it's just you're better off.
Just open a couple of letters and see if there's a check inside.
Yeah, right. Hey,
seems like better odds.
There's a shaky handwriting that looks like a grandma.
Right.
So
there's a 20 in there.
Little Timmy. Okay, score. It's going to be something in there.
There's at least a $2 bill.
That cheap bitch. It's nothing. It's just a card.
Stickers.
A gift certificate for socks from Kmart. This sucks. So, he's set to serve a jail sentence starting in September 1994.
Okay.
So this is not great for the family, obviously. He's number one. He's the one who brings home the money.
Right.
So what the fuck are they going to do? While he's unemployed and in prison,
right?
And she has to take care of a 3-year-old and an 11-year-old, and this is rough, man. This is going to be hard on a marriage. It's going to be hard on everybody, hard on the kids. Finally, Friday, August 26, 1994, Blaine and Teresa Hodges attended an Amway conference.
Oh, Jesus!
That's how desperate they are for money. They're attending fucking Amway conferences, Jimmy. Jesus Christ. Left their kid. The conference was in Charlottesville. They left their kids with a relative and go to this Amway concert.
Oh, no.
Did you never know anyone who sold this shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a guy.
Awful.
I know a guy who did it. He got burnt in an accident at work. He was a glass blower.
Yeah.
And he got denatured alcohol and he got burnt.
No.
So he never even saw it. He didn't know it was burning until he was burning,
until he was
basically.
Blue. Right.
Yeah, and it was all he got his legs.
Oh.
Somehow didn't get his dick at all. I don't know how.
Awesome.
Hole over here completely didn't get his dick and balls. I don't know if his boxers
whatever his underwear were, he should have been selling those.
That's what I mean. I don't know what he had on, but money.
Yeah.
So he gets burned. He ends up getting all these skin grafts. I mean, I thought he was going to die. It was really, really bad. Comes back. You know what I mean? He's healthy, does well.
Sells Amway.
Well, he gets insanely religious.
Oh.
And not like, because he was always like kind of, was like a Christian and shit, but he wasn't like, now he's like, all he'll talk about is Jesus.
Well, yeah, if everything's burnt except my dick, whatever did that, I'm finding a higher power.
He married I'm not judging anybody, Jimmie, the ugliest woman I've ever fucking seen. And he's like a handsome guy.
Right.
This woman is... It's just, I'm not even being judgmental. It's just subjectively, he's like an 8 and she's like a fucking 1 1/3 maybe. She's like a 1.3.
Listen.
It's not terrific,
right?
But he loves her, and I was like, good for him. He seemed, I don't care.
She's the only one that does the weird shit he likes.
I don't know. Maybe. The weird shit she loves to do is sell like Amway type shit.
Oh, she got him in.
And so all they would talk about is like, if you talk to them, all they would talk about is either Jesus or Amway.
Oh,
so they're trying to sell me things I don't want on both accounts. It's like, if I want to find... like if I want to find Jesus, I'll do that on my own.
Right.
That's more of that seems personal.
Listen, can I scam you this way? No. How about this?
Yeah. How about that? I'll find Jesus on my own if I want, but if I want to be involved in a multi-level marketing scheme, kick me in the nuts because I've lost my fucking mind. I've gone crazy.
Of knockoff shit.
Doesn't
this smell
he
just like
a garage full of shit.
Gross.
His whole garage was full of shit, and he's like, see? And I'm like, well, what do you do with this now? I got all this stuff. You know what that's worth? And I'm like, I don't know. Who are you going to sell it to?
Fucking nothing to me.
Sell it all and then tell me what it's worth. Because sitting in your garage, it doesn't look like it's worth much. It's like pallets of fucking protein powder and bullshit. I don't know. So anyway, back to Hodges here. Back to them. Blaine picks up the children from the relatives on Saturday. A friend spoke with Blaine on the telephone about 5 p.m. on Saturday. Later that Saturday, a friend phoned the Hodges residence, but no one answered, and the answering machine didn't activate.
Okay.
And just kept ringing and ringing and ringing.
Yeah.
Which is straight. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on your, every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping, you got a car payment due, there's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Range. 4:30 p.m. on Sunday, Teresa leaves a phone message with a friend to arrange for the children's carpool on Monday.
Got it.
Daycare, school, all that. So it's August, so it's daycare back there. This was the first day of the school session, so they're trying to get the kids to go. Now, the friend returned the call and talked with Teresa at a number that Teresa had given her. Teresa called her and left a number to call her back at.
Call me here.
And it was a public payphone at a gas station, which is strange.
I'm going to be here all day. Just call me anytime.
Yeah, call me at the gas station payphone, which is odd. Why would you be? And it's near the house, too. So it's very strange that she's using a gas station payphone when she has a home nearby she could call and make, kid arrange. It's not something that's like an emergency. Yeah. Something you do when you get home. So it's just weird. Anyway, Sunday, August 28th, 1994, a neighbor sees Earl and Teresa and the children that day. Earl drives a 1972 white pickup truck with a black tailgate.
Okay.
So
very obvious.
Very obvious truck. Yeah, it's the one with the black tailgate. Right. It's obviously that's aftermarket right there.
He backed into something.
That there's aftermarket. You know how that goes.
There's after oak tree. That's what that is.
That's a special one. See, now when you're drunk and you back into a semi, this is what happens. So they were seen together near a nearby not with Blaine though, near a nearby national forest on Sunday afternoon. A forest ranger who saw them noticed the black tailgate on the white truck. That's what caught his eye and made him remember it.
Right.
Because you don't see that very often. Another friend goes to the Hodges home at 7 p.m. on Sunday, and he found a note on the door. And two other friends went to the Hodges home at 8:45 p.m. on Sunday. These people have a lot of friends. Jesus Christ. How many people have come to your house in the last 6 months? Not this many. No. That's come on a Sunday evening to these people's house. This is 3 people, friends, stopping by in an hour and a half period on a Sunday evening.
Truthfully,
mind-boggling.
I'm so glad.
That's what I mean. This sounds like fucking terrible. I don't want to do this. They have a 3-year-old. It's 8:45. That kid's been asleep for a half hour. You wake that kid up, I'm going to shoot you off my front lawn.
It's 106. I hate putting a shirt on, so don't come over.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to wake all the neighbors up with my blasts at you. This is ridiculous. So they all went there. They also found a note on the door. Everyone saw the same note. The note read, quote, "Had an emergency, back late Sunday, early Monday, Teresa." That's the note on the door. So very odd as well. And the payphone thing.
Right.
It's all very strange goings on here. Now, people observed the Hodges' 2 cars were there. They were parked nearby, but the home was dark except for a light on in the basement. Mm-hmm. That's all they could see. They called the house, but there was no answer, and the answering machine didn't take the call again. Keeps ringing. So there's a problem here. What's going on? So, whatever, they leave. I don't know who the fuck knows. It's their business.
Right.
Then, August 29th, 1994, the next morning, Monday morning, 4:30 a.m., this is, a man named Robert Scott Arney is traveling on Virginia Avenue past the home.
Yep.
Now, he is hearing impaired as well and can't speak.
Okay.
So, this guy, what he sees, he then has to find somebody else to help him tell somebody about it.
Fuck.
So it makes it even more time goes by. He drives past Virginia Avenue, which is where their home is located, the Hodges, and he noticed, quote, a large cloud of smoke coming across the highway, very thick.
Oh.
Not great. He determined that he figured out that a house was on fire.
Right.
And he couldn't
the
call.
Worst person to witness this.
That's the thing. He's like, oh my
Jesus,
God. And he's like, I'm making a face right now. He can't fucking do anything about it. So he's like, so he has to go around. I know he can make noises. I'm just obviously making a little light of this because it's less comfortable than it's more comfortable than a house fire. So he's, he has to track somebody down to get them to help him.
Right.
He said, I have a radio, call this in, whatever. You have a radio there. So he figured that out. They reported the fire to the authorities, obviously. Firefighters respond to the scene, and there's a lot of fucking fire. They find fires kind of throughout the whole house.
Really?
It's all over. They enter through the second story, and they come down that way. Seem to be the least fiery of places up there. So they come in. What they find is fucking horrible.
Oh, no.
Let's find out here. In the downstairs living room, they find Teresa Hodges. She's on the couch. She is certainly passed away. She is still burning.
Oh, no.
The couch she's on is still burning, and she is still smoldering on fire. They find out, though, that she died from ligature strangulation. Here is what we find out. So, like we say, she's burning and she's been strangled.
Right.
She's only wearing a pair of underwear and white cotton, and her white cotton shorts were found over by the stairs near the landing.
Yeah.
She has no top, just her underwear, shorts found over by the landing. They also find a clump of hair down over in that area as well by the stairs. So there's that. So that's horrible enough.
Right.
They keep going through the house. They find William Blaine Hodges. They find him on the bed upstairs, and he is also dead.
Yeah.
His body is not burned at all.
Oh.
But he has a gunshot to his left temple.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
Right.
Strange. Yeah. Not burned and shot. She's burned and strangled.
Right.
It's odd that you'd find two completely different like that in the same residence.
Two completely modes of deceased.
Shot and not burned, strangled and burned.
Right.
It's fucking seriously weird. Now, they keep going.
Oh, no.
They're hoping that the kids aren't home, obviously. But they find in an upstairs bedroom, both the children are on the same bed together there. Both of the young ladies are dead as well.
Yeah.
It's awful. So Winter, at 11 years old, she died from 2 gunshots to the head.
Shit.
The muzzle of the weapon had been pressed right against her skin. It's a contact. Her body is not burned, just the shooting. Now, the body of Anna, who's 3, is in the same bed with her sister. She also died from 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Muzzle was within inches when fired, not direct contact, but close. And her body was covered with soot and had sustained mild burns. But her sister right next to her,
nothing.
No burns.
Okay.
So
she went out?
It's mind-boggling. This is fucking mind-boggling. They find a single pubic hair on the bed between them. It's a Caucasian pubic hair. That's all they can tell at first when they find it, and it's in like we said, in the bed right between the 2 girls.
That's awful. Which
is awful. Now, police initially, you look at this scene. What are you thinking, Jimmy? Like putting this scene together, I'm going dead, dead. Upstairs, not burned.
Right.
1 shot to the temple.
Right.
Everybody else 2, and a strangle.
Right.
I'm thinking this guy killed his whole family and shot himself. It looks like a murder-suicide, and that's what I thought when I first read it, and that's what the police thought as well. Yeah. They went, okay, look, the gun that killed everybody is right next to this guy.
And the gun's there.
It's a caliber, the 22 is right next to him. 22 handgun is right next to him. He's got... it's right next to him. He's not burned. He had 1 shot when everyone else had 2. So that seems like, he shot himself once and then didn't feel the need to do it again because he was dead. So, the problem is once they get everyone into the medical examiner's office, they find out that Blaine had been killed 12 to 24 hours before the others.
Oh, no.
Not a murder-suicide anymore.
That's not our guy.
No, the brakes are on. Everyone goes, what the fuck?
Right.
This is a tragedy, man. Murder, suicide. And it made sense. He was going to prison next month. Mm-hmm. So they were like, he couldn't take it. He was going away to federal prison. Like, they were just like nodding like, man, this is such a tragedy.
Right.
Great little family, and he steals money out of a drawer, and now everybody's dead, fucking horrible. I mean, this is tragic. Somebody that can't take it,
right,
kills their whole family over it. That's awful.
As a murderer, whatnot for some fire, they wouldn't know. You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
If he burns, it's open and closed.
Yeah, that's who knows. Wow. They also find bruises and everything on Teresa as well, on her body. And once they get the autopsy, they're like, holy shit, this is not good. They also find that the fire was not accidental, but is a set fire.
Yeah.
They find gasoline pour patterns around,
of course,
Teresa, around things in certain areas of the house. Teresa, it was on her.
What do you want to bet in the history of house fires there's never been a murder and then an accidental fire?
Everybody died and then a candle went out of control and burned the house down. That would be amazing. That's probably never happened. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
The odds of that would be crazy.
Once you see the strangling and the gunshot wounds, you go, this probably everything bad is on purpose here that's happened.
Everything after this, we all agree is on purpose?
It's all on purpose.
Somebody did this?
An asshole did this. So they found
the wiring didn't just go faulty. No.
Boom. Murder, suicide, fucking bad wiring, candle falls over. Somebody left the oven on. It's a mess in here. So they do find out that Teresa and the girls died in the early morning hours of the 29th, but before the fire. Okay. And Blaine died, like we said, 12 to 24 hours, probably either during the afternoon or Saturday night even, they're thinking.
Got it.
Sunday afternoon or Saturday night. Now, one thing I want to say here, because the only bit of real evidence they have right now is the pubic hair.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I understand, because just reading a lot of, like, if you read, like, Mindhunter, like what these weirdos will do if they're killing someone.
Yeah.
In my mind, I know that someone probably tried to jerk off over this situation, and there's no, discharge of any kind. There's no evidence he left that way, because who knows if he couldn't pull it off or whatever the fucking deal is. But that's probably how a pube ended up on the fucking bed, which is absolutely disturbing.
Vile.
You almost wish it was like fucking sprinkled like a garnish, like just like voila, you know what I mean?
Like that's his finishing.
It
has nothing to do with anything.
Takes a step back, perfect. Like it's like an art piece. I know that's not fucking funny,
murder parsley,
but this is so disturbing. It's better. That would be better than I'm going to jerk off on dead children.
Right.
That's to me. I don't know. So
it's just it's a step insane. Beyond.
It's crazy.
The realm of normality. And really, there's no normality of murder in the first place, apart from defending yourself. But making it sexual and having some sort of sick gratification that way makes it so much worse.
It makes it way worse.
It's not even a step. It's a mile further down the road.
That was your motive at that point.
Right.
That's what it makes it.
You needed this for that.
Now I can do that gross thing that I wanted to do.
My God.
So, so they found accelerants in the home. Also, they found the telephone line had been cut, which is if you did that, it would ring and ring and ring, but obviously no answering machine because there's no phone for it to ring to.
Got it.
So that's how that works. That's at least for a day, the phone line's been cut. They also found that all the bullets recovered from the bodies had been fired by the same weapon. The ballistics says that. The weapon that they were consistent with weapons manufactured by Arminius. It's a handgun. I don't know. The problem is the handgun found next to Blaine, the barrel was missing.
What?
There was no barrel on it.
How do you?
So
this is the worst frame attempt.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no barrel on the gun. I assume that would help the ballistics of it.
Generally,
because then there'd be no rifle to fire another shot on and test the rifling.
But it generally helps a weapon fire.
Shoot, that's the problem. If you're going to kill yourself, you need a barrel on that bad boy.
Yeah.
That's how that's going to work. So they said that it would be impossible to determine whether it had fired any of the bullets, though, without there's no rifling, there's no ballistics. There's a whole lot more coming about the bullets, by the way, too. So September 3rd, a couple days goes by.
Yeah.
people are like, what the fuck happened? I mean, people are a little freaked out about this. At first, everyone, oh, that's so sad that whole family died. And now everyone's like, oh, shit. So the police chief talks. He says, quote, I don't think we're dealing with a random shooting. Really?
All right, sir.
Thanks. That's how I see why you're the chief.
Yeah. Thank God you're in charge.
I can see why you're not just like a sergeant or an officer, or I can see why
everybody
you are
else thought it was random. I'm the one in charge, and I thought, you know what? Probably not.
I said, I don't think that fire's an accident.
No.
I really don't. I'm going to go out on a limb here. He says that no new information to give out, but there was no, quote, there was no reason to kill a whole family, to kill 2 kids, and that's why the hammer is down, and we won't let it up.
Okay.
We're going to find this guy right away. He said there are no new leads that I can make available to you. He said anything that we could tell you would jeopardize any further details we could tell you would jeopardize the investigation. Homicide detectives always keep a couple pieces of info in their pocket.
Yeah.
That way they know if someone is telling the truth, if they confess. Mm-hmm. That way also they'll know if a witness is telling the truth, if they're telling on somebody else.
Yeah.
There's only there's a couple pieces
that only somebody was there now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a little thing, what the person was wearing, what the caliber of the weapon was, things like that, little things that only a killer would know. In this case, it's the pour patterns of the gasoline. They don't tell anybody about that.
Got it.
They don't tell shit. They hold that all back for now. They don't tell anyone it's arson. So, which, I mean, obviously it is, but they don't tell anyone what kind. He says, we're still trying to determine the last people who saw the Hodges alive. They're talking about a multi-jurisdictional investigation with the state police in Roanoke County and Roanoke City and the Vinton town. And the fucking, people are coming out of the hills with pitches and pitches with torches and pitchforks.
Pitches and torch folks.
Torch folks. That's right. So, it's going to be the cavalry is coming. Full on shit here.
We got hounds and everything.
Oh, boy. Now, they have one sort of witness, kind of. Dorothy Ross McGee, who was driving her car through the town of Vinton in her going into work that morning. She drove past the house and while it was burning and saw before it was burning, but during that time period, and saw a pickup truck operated by a lone white male that pulled onto the street in the area of the residence, paused, followed her for a second, and then drove past her fast, past the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. She said it was a light-colored, sort of pinkish color. Yeah. She said, like a light sort of pink, like all big pickup trucks are a light pink.
They're beautiful.
But with a dark tailgate, is what she said. That's what she said. So, I mean, she's an old lady, too. Right. So, her colors, especially at that time of morning, because the sun's coming up around then. So, you're going to have different hues and weird... Street lights mixed with, sunrise, mixed with weird... Who knows what that's going to reflect on her.
Light hits paint at a funny angle then.
Yeah. Who knows if she's got to put on her afternoon glasses. I don't have any idea. So on the morning of the fire, where the fuck was Earl? They want to know because he hangs around and he's a friend of the family. They want to talk to him. They find out that he arrived at his place of work at 5:08 a.m. It's 4.7 miles from the Hodges house, a 12-minute drive. So that's how that works. Earl, told his supervisor that he slept in his truck last night out in the parking lot. So I slept in my truck last night. I just must have overslept out there and came in. But his supervisor said his hair was neatly combed. He had clean clothes on that weren't wrinkled, and he was freshly shaven. So
shaved in the bed of the truck.
He's awesome. Yeah, this guy can work it out quick. Fred Smith, who's a coworker at the Bruco Sign Company, he said that Earl sometimes slept in his truck and that he usually parked in the front of the store. For those when he did that, he said that when he got there, though, Smith that morning at 4:30 a.m., he didn't see Earl's truck there. So if he did sleep there, he was out of the parking lot by 4:30 and then came back by 5. So, which is not what he said. He did. So also, Earl was seen driving past the Hodges house at 8:30 a.m. on the morning of the fire, but didn't stop. He just drove by the house, and there was all emergency vehicles. The whole fucking street was closed off.
It's a place where you stay sometimes. You have no questions for anybody?
No, not at all. Well, just keep driving.
I'll ask him later.
You can imagine the amount of emergency personnel with a fire and 4 dead people, 2 dead children. I mean, it's
cordoned off.
The whole street. You can only go around one lane and shit like that. He later said, he tells his ex-wife about the fire later in the day, because everybody knows about it by then, and he tells his ex-wife, and he said that he thought the police were, quote, going to blame it on me. That's what he said. They're going to blame it on me. Why would they blame it on you?
Right.
Why? You see, you've got nothing going on.
Right.
He's got a couple of problems in the past once they look him up. About 20 years before this, in the 70s, he was found guilty of drunk driving and writing a bad check.
Okay.
Who cares?
Yeah.
The 70s, obviously drunk driving isn't great. Bad checks aren't great.
Right.
It's the 70s. It's 20 years ago. Yeah. No one died. It's not like, if he didn't get busted 20 more times, maybe he learned his lesson.
Right.
Right?
Clearly figured out how to balance the checkbook. So what? He's bad at math.
Who cares? Yeah. Exactly. He's bad at that kind of math.
Right.
Blood alcohol content
That's
math. How much do I weigh again? Shit. Is wine stronger than... fuck it.
I need lunch.
Shots.
Right.
Line them up. I don't know. Also, they found, though, a little worse in 1984. Not a little worse, a lot worse. Earl was charged with molesting a 10-year-old girl.
Oh, Earl.
Goes all the way to trial, but he's acquitted.
Oh?
He's acquitted, which... who knows back then if they didn't believe the kid or who, I don't even know. We don't have any idea. But there's been some other stuff and more on that we'll get to. Don't worry. That's not the last you'll hear of Earl and his past. They want to talk to Earl because of his friendship with them, obviously. About 5 p.m. that day, Earl came down to the police department and in response to a request from the police. He didn't just show up. They called him and they said, would you mind coming in? We want to talk to you about this fire. And now he said that the policeman told him that the Hodges had all been killed in a fire. He didn't mention how they were killed. He didn't mention murder. He just said everyone was killed in the fire. And at that point, he said that Earl seemed to cry for a period of time, but the police officer said he didn't see any tears.
Oh.
He was just sobbing, basically.
I hate that crying.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. Then he became angry and punched a file cabinet. So he's going through all the stages of grief right away.
Right now.
Anger. He's going to be acceptance by the time he gets to the parking lot. He's going to be like, that's all right. I understand. It's cool. You know what, man? This is a crazy, topsy-turvy world.
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to go. That just tells you enjoy your loved ones and enjoy every day of your life. You fellas have a nice night, officers. All right, then I'll see you later.
Everybody's got a time to go. You go when you're cold.
You go when you're cold, man. The big man calls you, you come a running.
I wish I had that process real fast every night. I wouldn't be sitting up at night.
Amazing. They said then he started acting strangely a little bit, which he's always acting a little bit strangely, but he acts strangely. And then before they even told him that it had been a homicide, he said the police said they were just discussing, quote, some general things, and he just interrupted one of the cops and says, if you're going to charge me with murder, go ahead and charge me and get it over with.
Oh.
So they were like, pardon?
Nobody said anything about a murder.
Excuse me, sir. We didn't do that. What the fuck? And so near 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, he leaves. They say, well, we're not going to arrest you, Earl, should we? And he said, of course not. I didn't do anything wrong. He ends up leaving. He ends up he's staying at the Apple Valley Motel.
Yeah.
Now, the police come to talk to him there because he said that they should, and then he wouldn't talk to them. So then they come back, but they come back with Blaine's brother, which is weird. To try to talk, convince him, emotionally, I want to know what happened to my brother, help me type of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's what they do. And they said that he was first calm, Earl was, and then he became very emotional and he started crying and shaking real bad. And then he just yelled out, go ahead and arrest me for murder. Go ahead. And he started screaming, why don't you just do it? He's putting his hands behind his back. Go ahead and fucking cuff me if you want to cuff me. And they're oh boy here. He then also said that he thought about suicide and he wrote a note for that night and everything, like he was going to kill himself, he tells them. But then he said he calmed down, and they said, look, let's just resume this. Why don't you come down, meet me at the police department noon tomorrow. We give you a chance to calm down, and then we'll just talk about it real nice and calm at noon. So he says, okay, sure, and then he never shows up.
Of course not.
Obviously. Oh, and it's getting worse for Earl. Several days after the deaths of the Hodges, co-workers of Earl's found a pair of jeans in a bucket filled with water and some cleaning shit in the place of business, like out back, a pair of his jeans. In addition, Cops who interviewed Earl later in the day noticed that first day that his sneakers looked to be like freshly cleaned.
Yeah.
Like they were sparkling clean, but they weren't brand new.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, they looked like somebody detailed them with a fucking Q-tip and some alcohol or something, like really detailed them up and made them nice, which is
very strange.
Especially for Earl.
Right.
You know, like Earl's not going to clean his sneakers like that. His name's Earl, for fuck's sake. He's not doing that.
There's not an Earl, unless it's DMX, that cleans their shoes.
Yeah. Clean my shoes, motherfucker. Don't like it when them shits get dirty.
Right.
So later on in the week, another coworker saw Earl sitting near a dumpster behind the print shop, the Bruco print shop here. So they told the cops about that, and the cops went and searched the dumpster. Just they're like, well, fuck it, it's something, because everyone's kind of suspicious of Earl. When they search the dumpster, they find bills addressed to Earl in there, a T-shirt identical to the one he gave to Winter days before the murder. Not that he gave, that somebody had given to Winter. So, and they couldn't find that shirt in the house either. So this is Winter's shirt that he has. The 11-year-old.
I'm going to put her clothes and shit with my name on it. Here.
It gets weirder, Jimmy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. A multi-page document written by Earl detailing his belief that Winter, the 11-year-old, was sexually attracted to him.
Oh, no.
And several audio tapes and a tape recorder. Which, imagine what's on these fucking tapes after we're getting into this. The recordings on the tapes were by Earl, and he spoke about his obsession with Winter on the tapes. There's more tapes, by the way, that his sister has hidden.
No.
Also found in the dumpster was a crude sketch depicting the murders. It was of 4 stick figures, a male, a female, and 2 children.
Yeah.
Lines were drawn to the heads of the male stick figure and the children, and a circle had been drawn around the female and the children, but not the male. The paper on which the sketch appeared bore notes in his handwriting.
Oh, my God.
So he definitely drew this fucking thing as well.
What?
Not good.
Fuck.
Not good.
We're never going to understand the mind of a fucking lunatic, but how do you even unpack that?
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh, boy.
Other evidence indicated that the notes were written several days before the murders, so he was talking about this. So that was his plan, not what he did. This wasn't like a cave drawing, like this is what we just did. This was, this is what I'll do. I'll do this. This is the house.
Yeah.
This is my plan.
This is 4th and goal playbook.
That's it. We're bringing in the goal line offense, and we're going over the top. So the tapes, they find more tapes. He calls them his, quote, Panasonic diaries.
Gross.
Which sounds really gross. Yeah. It doesn't matter what he calls it. He could call it his poetry bouquet, and it would still sound utterly disgusting and like sticky with jizz.
Yeah.
You know? So a year prior to the murders, he had mailed 2 packages to his sister in Indiana. This is so weird.
A year earlier. Some of the tapes were found in the sister's house. Others were found in a rented storage shed, and some found in a trash container, the dumpster we talked about. Now, when they're open, with the sister's permission, she's like, I don't know what's in the sister hadn't even opened the box. She got it and was like, I don't even want to know what the fuck this dude is doing. Who sends shit to their family and says, store this for me?
He said, hold on to it just in case anything happens to me. You keep that. Okay. Now, they were found to contain photographs of the Hodges children, 62 audio tapes of his voice. 62, Jimmy. These are 90-minute or 60-minute fucking tapes. 62 of them. That's prolific. That's insane. On the tapes, he talks about his sexual interest in Winter and his belief that that her parents, Blaine and Teresa, were, quote, trying to set him up or entrap him in a sexual act with her. He's got a paranoid scheme that the parents are telling the kid to like be precocious and come on to him, so he'll go after the kid and then they can entrap him and say he was molesting her. No parents ever want to put their kid in a position. That's insane to think that. That's fucking nuts. But I mean, it's 62 fucking hours of him saying this.
This is a man in his 40s?
Yeah, this guy's fucking 50 years old, this guy. He said in the tape that Blaine was using his oldest daughter, quote, as sexual bait, dangling a worm in front of him.
That's the grossest sentence I've ever heard.
It's the most disgusting. the most disgusting. He talks about how, he's 55 years old at this point. He talks about how, that the kid wants him and the parents are trying to set him up. She said on the tape, he says, quote, "He's trying to stab me in the back. I'm going to put this down why all this is all happening." So he's trying to say, I'm going to document this as it's happening.
Holy
so later
shit.
on, in his mind, later on, when they accuse him, these tapes will set him free. That's what he's in his mind. So,
he's so sick.
Another tape he secretly recorded with Winter. This is fucking disgusting. That he told her that if he didn't get to see her once a day, he gets all upset. Okay. In conversations, he encouraged him to do handstands in front of him, so her shirt would fall down and shit. And she said. She's only 11, this kid, and she said, quote, "You're not supposed to look at that stuff, Earl."
Oh, God damn it. No!
Hey, sick fuck, get away from me. The kid even knew. Ew, you're a creep.
And he's got this on tape.
11, and she knew this. You know what I mean? She's a kid who was like, ew, get away from me.
That's
11.
my no. Go away.
Yeah, don't look at me like that. And he said, quote, "Can't help myself."
Ew.
Then later, he called her on the tapes on his own when he was recording, called her sexually sophisticated. And he felt that she was leading him on. That's what she felt with the attention she was giving him. He says, quote, "It's heavy-duty sexual enticement. I can't handle it. I've got to walk away from it." Oh, yeah. Oh, there's more. In the box that he sent to his sisters for safekeeping, also in the box was a pair of distinctive socks that definitely were Winter's. They're a certain design. Also, they had solvent used in silk screening in an area of the Bruco shop where he did his screening work on them. Chemical analysis revealed traces of fuel oil on jeans that were there. Fuel oil that was an exact match of one of the accelerants that was at the home. There's a lot of stuff here. Additionally, 5-gallon fuel cans were found at the Hodges home and were matched to fuel cans owned by Candler Oil, where Bramblett had worked. So we took cans from there, brought them there, and just left them there. Fuck it. Now, the notes here are on the house with Teresa, if we remember, the ones had an emergency, be back Sunday morning,
right.
Sunday night, early Monday morning. They said that family members testified that later on that they knew of no such emergency, and if anything was wrong, Teresa would have called her family.
Right.
She's close with her family and not shy. She would have called. Also, family members recognized her handwriting, but they said it looked like her handwriting, but a handwriting expert was unable to make a positive match between the handwriting in the letter and her actual handwriting. Okay. So they don't know if it was written under duress or somebody trying to copy her hand. Either one. Sometimes when people are forced to write things, they write it not like they do on purpose to show that they're being fucking forced to write something. So who knows? Also, they found an identification here. Oh, an indented writing on one of the notes, and the writing, which was addressed to one of Bramblett's sons, was also written by Bramblett. You could see the indentation. So it came from one of his notepads, at least. Yeah. Also, forensics, they found the gasoline sprinkled around the bodies. Like I said, didn't release that publicly, though. Firearms experts said that the casings and everything all matched, came from the same gun. They found the bullets came from a certain lot. That was a lot that he bought at a certain store. Okay. Now, obviously, anybody in that town could have went in and bought from the same lot, but that's just something that he actually had. You can put it in the barrel of shit that's weird. The fact that the barrel was off the gun made it kind of hard to see if it was that gun, but that's fine here. Now, the pubic hair. Yuck. The single pubic hair, just by the way, he's off in the wind right now. He's supposed to show up and he didn't. This is all this investigation's going on while they're looking for him. Found on the one between the children was determined to microscopically match a sample of Earl's pubic hair, but that could be... That's very common. So they have to do a DNA test, and when they do that, it matches Earl.
Of course.
So that matches Earl.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. You don't want to have a matching pubic hair between two dead children, usually.
You don't want your DNA near two dead children.
Especially in a pube form.
Right.
Just about anything else would be better than a pube, I think, right? Anything.
Any DNA that is...
an eyeball.
From your hips, or from the middle of your thighs to your belly button. Any DNA that comes from any of that region,
that's bad.
Keep that away from the kiddos.
Keep that shit away. So he's on the fucking wing, basically. He's on the run here. He, rather than laying low, he writes a letter to a newspaper to publish. And it's dated October 12th, 1994. So more than a month and a half after the murders.
He needs publicity of this.
Yep. He says, the Blaine Hodges family were my family, and Winter and Anna were my daily joys. It tore out my heart, as I know it has the rest of the Hodges. He says that, he stated that the Vinton police were trying to set him up and that several lawyers had advised him to get out of Virginia. No lawyer would give you that. That's not legal advice. You're wanted, sort of. Right. You're at least a material witness at this point. Flee the state.
Right.
No fucking lawyer would give you that advice.
You didn't do it. Let's go to court and prove it and make these people pound sand.
You can't just run away.
Also, you said they were your family. End of story.
That's it.
Don't put that other sentence in there.
Don't put the kids were my joy.
Gross.
Hey, we found your tapes, asshole. Right. Don't say that. He says, quote, I think I counted 6 or 7 total lies by the police. They did not misquote me or misunderstand what I said. They totally fabricated the whole story of when I went to the Vinton Police Department. I saw the handwriting on the wall then. Then he said that he would have voluntarily turned over any information that he had that would have solved the case. He said, quote, I have stayed away from the police because they lied to me. Mm-hmm. That's what he said. He stays away. How long? 2 years.
What?
2 years go by. Nothing.
Are they
no
not looking
movement.
for him?
They can't fucking find him. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I don't think they're looking that fucking hard, because this is 1995 now, 96. This isn't 1945 where he could just disappear.
Yeah.
There's computers and shit. And you know where he goes to?
West Virginia.
South Carolina, which is pretty close by. You know how he hides? Uses his real name.
Wait, what?
Real name, gets a job, just pretends like nothing's going on.
He just goes by
Tells
Earl.
people, I'm from Virginia, just moved here. My name's Earl Conrad. Tells them, and the cops don't fucking find him for 2 fucking years.
Wow.
I'm sorry. That is pathetic.
Yeah,
that's pathetic.
That's terrible.
That's awful.
That's endangerment. That's letting a fucking guy that's capable of that,
dude,
unleashing that on society.
That's horseshit.
South Carolina, anybody that's not dead that came in contact with him, you're lucky to be alive.
So, I mean, someone who's capable of that. Right. Oh, we haven't gotten to possibly the sickest shit that he's ever done here. There's more coming. So finally, July 30th, 1996, he's arrested. He's been living in Spartanburg, South Carolina for 2 years, working at the Sky Vision print shop. He's even working. They didn't even go, let's just go through the print shops around. Right. We'll call all the print shops in the Southeast and just see if they have a guy named Earl Bramblett working there.
It's what year?
It's
96?
a long shot. Yeah, but I mean, let's just do it.
Haven't you guys played Carmen Sandiego? Yeah. I mean, you find what he's good at.
There is the internet now. Literally. I mean, it's not like it is now, but you could get online and look at shit and find things. This is fucking ridiculous.
Could have cracked this case.
Absolutely. So, wow. They said a tip led to the arrest. What tip? What? I mean, honestly, how you didn't need a tip,
right?
We're idiots. Thanks, and they hang up. He must be right there.
There's a man jerking outside my house with a can of gasoline, looking at my kids. Is that bad? Does that sound like anybody
talking into a tape recorder? With the other hand, I don't know what's going on here. Very strange. So they said they staked him out for about 2 days. They notified the owners of the print shop and surrounding businesses before making the arrest. Yeah. And they swarmed the place. He surrendered without incident and declined to be interviewed. He said they did put him on suicide watch. He was working at the print shop. They're all shocked, the neighbors. Everybody loves him over there. They said, his neighbors said they described him as a helpful guy. He adopted a 3-legged dog from the county shelter, and you'd see him walking it every night and waving at everybody. There's Earl. What a nice guy.
What's that poor dog been through?
Oh, my God. Mary Ann, he had 4 legs when he adopted him.
It had 3 legs, and then its life got worse.
And then bad things happened. Right. Mary Ann Hallbrook, who lives down the street, said, quote, I've cooked supper for him before. Lord God, I just thought he was a lonely old man.
Wow.
She said her husband and Earl were good friends. He would clean the fuel tanks on her husband's truck, and he helped out another neighbor, Chuck Gordon, put gypsum wallboard at his house and fixed another man's car. Oh, no. He's just a nice guy in the neighborhood. She says, quote, if you could ever think about someone doing something like that, Earl's the last person you would ever suspect. Which is like kind of the slogan of small town murder.
Right.
He's the last person.
That's how all of it happens.
Yeah, he walked his dog, 3-legged dog. What do you think his name is, Jimmy?
Tripod?
Nope.
No? Lucky.
Boom. I knew you'd get it in 3.
Two.
I knew you'd get it in 3. I knew you'd get it in fucking 3. So I'll give you 3 guesses. He's going to get lucky. He's absolutely getting it.
Yep.
People described him, like I said, a good neighbor. He stopped at, would go to Nicky's Speedy Mart every day, getting beef jerky for Lucky, because Lucky liked beef jerky, and a 12-pack of Milwaukee's Best for himself. That is disgusting. Imagine what his shits were like.
He is the hackiest person on earth.
He sucks.
Yeah.
Another guy here, co-owner of the Nicky's place, said, quote, "The guy would have done anything for you. He was a great fella, one of the nicest people we ever met. People said he was quiet, but I never noticed that shyness. We talked every day."
Oh, my.
Yep, they arrested him. People were freaked out. One Sherman Swofford, who owned Sky Vision Signs and Designs, said he felt sorry for him. He said they connected, and, he knew the guy. He said before 8 a.m. Each day, he'd walk through his backyard, down a neighbor's driveway, and head across the street, and then, he'd do his thing. He said about Earl, quote, "He was quite skillful, extremely articulate. He could talk about anything. His favorite topics always seemed to be athletics, track, and field. He was very humble, almost in a pitiful sort of way. I almost felt sorry for him. I paid him every week, even weeks when he didn't produce much, because it felt like he needed it."
Right.
They have adopted him.
Like a predator does. He makes you feel bad for him, and then he gets what he wants.
Puts himself... He knows how to blend in a situation. That's the thing. Because of all that moving, most of the time it's the opposite. The serial killers don't know how to blend. He is really good at just blending.
He's super dangerous.
He's good. This is the most dangerous, because you're not... If you saw the Night Stalker...
Right.
In the 70s, if you saw that guy, you'd go, Jesus, you crossed the street to the other side of the fucking street.
Dennis Rader, people were fucking petrified of that man.
This guy, you'd wave, "Hey, Earl."
Right.
"Hey, how you doing there, Lucky? Let me pet your little 3-legged head.
Come over, say hello to the kiddos, would you?"
Oh, yeah, the kids love Earl. He's great with the kids. He had a small vegetable garden with tomatoes and squash and beans.
Yeah.
And, all that kind of shit. One neighbor said, quote, "There couldn't have been a friendlier or nicer neighbor everywhere." That's his next door neighbor said that about him. For a year, they said that one person said, quote, "It's like he died. I mean, police talk like it's open and shut. He just didn't seem like the type, but I guess they never do."
Yeah.
That's
good.
Oh, yeah. Bramblett told his roommate, James Lee Owens, that he was in South Carolina because he had, quote, "done something bad in Virginia, but he couldn't talk about it."
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Police said it was like a scene from a movie. We turned the corner, and he walked out the door, and there he was, and that felt good. 2 years worth of shit. You could have had him at any point, you fucking morons. He was literally in the same house using his name with bills attached to it free. He just had to do anybody using this name anywhere?
Right. Run a quick search. There cannot be that many Earl Conrads.
Earl Conrad Brambles, you know how many there are? Fucking 0, because I do background checks on these people. There's not any other ones that I could find.
That's him.
That's the guy. That's the fucking one.
Screen printer? Weird.
Jesus Christ. Chief of police said there was some degree of pressure to get him. No shit, it's been 2 years, you fucking moron. You dumb shit. This guy's an idiot. But we needed to get him when we were ready and had a case against him. We had known where he was for some time. So you let a fucking... Oh, they didn't tell the local authorities,
nobody.
Hey, I'd keep an eye on this guy 24 fucking hours a day. We think he's trying to fuck kids and kill whole families and burn their bodies.
We've got a case here. He's number one suspect. It's fucking terrible. If I told you the details, you'd shit yourself. You really would. So keep an eye on him. Maybe a tail every day for the rest of the time.
Just check it out. God damn it! Apparently, they find his place here. He rents a place, and so they search the fuck out of that place. Guy climbs up in the crawl space and all this sort of shit. I mean, they really get in there. Mm-hmm. They said that he was also fixing up a store and sort of shit like that.
Right.
One neighbor said he was clean shaven and seemed like a nice, good-looking man. That just tells you never know your neighbors. No, if you shave, that means you're fine.
Right.
That's hilarious. So they extradite him back to Virginia quickly. That doesn't take very long. He he doesn't care, lets him do it. And they were proud of themselves. The county Commonwealth attorney said that he was very proud of 2 years of hard police work. Mm-hmm. Fucking Jesus. There were lots of pieces that had to be tied together, he says. He's indicted for capital murder, of Winter in the same transaction as the murder of Anna, the murders of Anna, Blaine, and Teresa, arson, and 3 counts of using a firearm in the commission of the murders. He is up for the death penalty here. He says at his arraignment, quote, "Yes, I don't understand. Are we talking about 1 count of murder, 2 counts, 10 counts? What are we talking about?"
He doesn't.
You know what you did is what they should have said to him. Fuck you. You know what you did, you asshole. So he wanted to talk. He said about what happened. He was rambling to the judge. It's his arraignment.
Yeah.
Not guilty or guilty.
Right.
He starts
How
rambling.
many counts, sir?
Yeah, literally. Then he starts going on, reiterating some of the claims he made. He's basically reiterating his 1994 letter to the newspaper. The police have been setting me up. He asked if a Virginia state trooper was going to be charged, and he was advised by a Roanoke attorney that it would be best for him to leave the area. That's the only reason he left. All of this shit. He said that he got in South Carolina, and the police had just drug him down to rock bottom. He said, "I landed in a mission. I was almost broke." Mm-hmm. So he gives an interview from jail here.
To who?
To a newspaper reporter.
Oh, boy.
In that interview, he talks about that gasoline had been sprinkled around the bodies.
Uh-oh.
No one knew that yet. They still never released that detail. So when that comes out, the police went,
yeah,
what the fuck did he just say? So then they subpoenaed the reporter. There was a big battle to get all of her notes and shit because she didn't want to give them up for, it's freedom of press type of shit. But the police said, quote, the only thing that only the killer would know. Obviously.
Right. So it's either him or you, lady. Cough him up or
cough
we're
him up.
You.
They do end up dragging her to court to testify against her will, but, she ends up doing it. He also, a cellmate comes forward named Tracy Turner, who's a convicted felon who was incarcerated with him at the county jail.
He's a bad man.
Oh, yeah.
Tracy.
He is a bad man, too.
Stone killer, bro.
He is, and he's addicted to, I don't know if he's a killer, but he's a kind of a drug addict and a bad guy in general. He said that Bramlett told him that Earl said that he was, quote, addicted to young girls. Jesus fucking Christ.
What are you in for? I'm addicted to meth. I got an addiction. Let me tell you about it. Gross.
It's disgusting.
Shut up.
Bramlett, quote, said that he had been caught with the young girl, and that he was caught downstairs with her, and that the mother sent them upstairs and sent her, and he went upstairs and that he choked the life out of her. That's what this guy is saying. Also, according to Turner, he says that Bramlett said that he, quote, walked around for a little bit, then went upstairs. He said he went first to the man's room, and then he went to the girl's room, and he finished his business and took care of his business. Earl was telling Turner apparently about what he called a forensic science book, from which he learned that if you burn a house, that it takes the rifling off the bullets and destroys hair samples and things. It does destroy trace evidence. That's why people do it, but it does not take rifling off of bullets. That's metal.
Right.
And it's going to be awfully hot to melt those bullets down.
Right.
Yeah, unless you have jet fuel in your house. That'd be the only way that's going to work. I don't know. So according to this Turner, he said that's the reason he set fire to the house. He said that he wanted the defense to be able to suggest the murders were a drug hit. Why would he say that? That's because Earl offers evidence that in the late 80s, and this is semi-true parts of it, Blaine and Teresa Hodges were into cocaine hardcore, which we don't know about that. They were supplied by a guy named Michael Fulcher, who was Teresa's half brother. During that period, Fulcher, who was in jail at the time, was wearing a wire for the feds to bust drug dealers for the DEA as part of his sentence, as part of his deal. And so they're saying this was a revenge hit for him turning in drug dealers. That's what Earl's saying, because that's what they do in a revenge drug hit.
Right.
They, leave a pubic hair between children.
Right.
Normally not. Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Almost forgot. No, I didn't. But one more thing. Make that 2 more things. Let's talk about Tammy Lynn Akers and Angela Mae Rader.
Oh, no.
Both 14-year-old girls disappeared February 7th, 1977. To go back a little bit to that time period, Earl's father was still alive, known as Old Man Bramlett.
Yeah.
Small town shit. Screen printing shop he had was down the street from where Tammy Lynn Akers lived. And Tammy had been given permission to help out at the shop, odd jobs to get a little money on the side, right? Earl was always often at the shop as well. He took a liking to Tammy. She was smart and shit like that. She would accompany him on outings and shit to deliver things and stuff. He would give her gifts on a regular basis.
Oh, no.
And, Now, Tammy's older sister was there on some of the outings and reports later that she was fondled by Earl on multiple occasions, the older sister, and her attempts to report it weren't taken seriously, and that she was told she was just jealous of her younger sister. That's how people used to treat young girls. You're just jealous of your younger sister. Nobody wants to fuck you.
She's catching dick and you're not.
This is horrible.
Fuck?
So Tammy and her friend Angela Rader, also 14, were dropped off at William Ruffner Junior High School by one of their relatives on February 7th. They did not attend classes that day and were last seen hitchhiking in the city. And neither girl has ever been heard from again.
Oh, no.
Ever. Angela ran away. Angela and Tammy had run away together several times before this. So the police didn't take it that seriously at first because they had done this before.
Yeah.
Like, they'll be back. It was one of those things, but several months later, they still weren't back. One of the girls' mothers got a phone call from someone saying she was her daughter, but she didn't know if it was really her or not, and saying that she was okay and she was fine, and then she hung up.
Yeah.
I'm your daughter and I'm fine. Click.
I'm your daughter. I figured out life, and I'm never coming back.
Tammy and Angela were also allegedly seen in a grocery store in the months after they vanished, but that was never confirmed whether it was them. The girl's mother told the cops that Tammy and Angela worked for the friend of the family, Earl Bramblett, in 1977, and a photo, they looked through all of that. Tammy's mother said that her daughter was friends with Bramblett and his wife at the time and spent a lot of time at their house. She said that he didn't seem to have a lot of adult friends, just children. That's a good sign. Yeah. Jesus. Orange slices.
Yeah.
This is the we haven't said it in a while.
Right.
If you see a guy who has no kids but he's volunteering to coach Little League and shows up a half hour early with orange slices, keep that guy the fuck away from your kids. Now, 50-50, he might be just the nicest guy in the world. Or he's trying to fuck your kids.
Yeah.
Not worth the risk.
Don't leave him alone with them at minimum.
You want your Little League coach to be some dad that's like, oh, for fuck's my one day off. Fine. Fine. I'll coach the fucking team. Is you happy now? And he shows up and he's like, Tommy, Jesus Christ, my head hurts. I'm so hungover. Oh, when is this over? It's so hot out, Jesus. That's the guy. He's never going to fuck your kids. He just wants to get away from them. That's who you want. So he reportedly told friends, Earl did, at a party he got really drunk in 1980 and started wailing and sobbing and crying out that he wished he hadn't hurt Tammy. So this was very crazy. Wow. So there was that. A lot of people reported that, but they never got any other info. He left the area there, and that was that. And so they've never been found. They've never come forward. This is 43 years ago.
Right.
They've never even found skeletal remains. Nothing.
Still today.
To this day, those girls are fucking in the wind, man.
Wow.
No. I mean, they searched the one girl's brother, made it his personal mission to search. It's fucking horrible. And we'll talk a little bit more about the search for them here. The change of venue he wants is denied. He doesn't want the change of venue. Only 7, with the jurors, 68, they don't let him have the change of venue. They say there's plenty here. 68 potential jurors were questioned. Only 7 were excused because of fixed opinions about Earl that would have impaired their ability. The remaining were either unaware of what happened, didn't see any media reports or the crimes, or they said they had an ability to put aside any information they may have read and take what they're giving.
Also, his account of the murders is not how it happened. There's no way that's the way it worked. You know what I mean? He didn't go up, choke the life out of her, then go up and murder him, and then do his business. Yeah, that's not how it worked.
Who the fuck does he think he is, too? You're so fucking famous? Fuck you. You're a murdering scumbag. You're not famous. Maybe if you would have eaten them. Then you would have been famous enough to have a change of venue, but let's be honest here. Now, late October 1997 is the trial. He pleads not guilty. Trial takes 14 days. 98 witnesses testify here. Blaine, they tell the defense tries to put out that Blaine was going to prison. So, still, though, I don't know how you're going to put, he killed himself and his whole family as a thing when he didn't have a barrel on the gun. So it sounds a little bit interesting here. Prosecutors talked about, they played the recordings of the tape saying he's sexually attracted to Winter and that the paranoia and that he's going to molest her and all this type of shit.
Right.
That doesn't go over well,
I'm sure,
as you can imagine, with the jury. Now, Teresa's father also testifies here. He said that his daughter had become scared of Earl the week before the murder, and along with her husband and 2 daughters as well. He said that he told his daughter to get Earl to return the extra house key that they'd given him or change the locks and doors. Right. And he's not the only person that told her that. She had a friend testify to the same exact thing. Firearms expert testified about the weapons and the bullets. The casings were found, and the cartridges, they matched bullets that were found in Bramblett's truck and storage room that he rented as well.
Uh-oh.
So they were the same, not the rifling, they're not ballistics, but the bullets were from the same lot.
Right.
So either he bought a similar box, like I said, in the store in town that the killer bought, or they're from the same fucking box, either one. But you add in the DNA pube, and I think it starts to really come together. Yeah. So the McGee lady who saw the truck, the old lady, this becomes the pinkish red lady.
Right.
This becomes a huge deal because of the pinkish red thing.
Right.
So what they do is the prosecution brings in these halogen lights to copy this way the sunset was and the street lights to see if it gave it a pinkish hue and do all of this shit. Meanwhile, they gave it a pinkish hue.
Right.
And the defense never objects to this, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's actually white, but I mean, there's no pinkish. Look it up. Look at the DMV. Is there a light pink truck with a dark fucking tailgate in the state of Virginia? Probably not.
They usually paint them that for like a giveaway for breast cancer.
Yeah, that would be it. Yeah. Oh, look at that. I won it at the ballpark. Right. I got my seat chosen or whatever the fuck.
And usually the person that owns that truck doesn't murder children, generally.
Oh, let's hope not. Jesus. Fingers crossed.
You don't use that vehicle in the commission of a crime is the point. the lady that sells all the Mary Kay isn't out fucking robbing people in her pink Cadillac.
That's true. Well,
stands out a bit.
Amway people aren't either.
Right.
So, his lawyer tried to suggest they brought up they said they ignored all other leads. Mm-hmm. You know, the police focused on Earl right away, which made sense. Why? Because he had a goddamn pube in the bed. He also said that they tried to say the family fell victim to a revenge killing by drug dealers, like we said, all of that shit. Basically, that Michael Fulcher was an informant to infiltrate drug rings from 84 to 89.
Oh.
So there's a lot of people mad at him.
No doubt.
But this is probably not this way, though. November 1st, 1997, verdict comes down, and he is guilty of all charges here. Sentencing will be in 2 phases. There is all the charges that aren't death eligible, and then the death charge.
Got it.
So those are 2 different phases here. During the sentencing phase, his attorneys present various testimony, Earl's oldest sister, his brother, his ex-wife, his son. They all say that he's a very paranoid person. Yeah. So he might have actually thought that, but they all said that he was a nice guy. He just thought the police were plotting against him. So they said that, he drank sometimes and that his paranoia was worse when he was drinking. So they said he's a good father, though. His bosses said he was a good worker. They called him an unselfish assistant coach in youth basketball. I don't know what that means. He shared the kids with other perverts. It's very unselfish.
How do you be an unselfish coach?
Yeah, Michael, who is his son, was a junior at Virginia Tech at the time.
Really?
It's not bad. He said his father always attended his basketball games, track events, and he, told him about hiking trips and going to the Grand Canyon with him and all that. The guy he worked for, Sherman Swafford, that felt bad for him in Spartanburg, he said that he was, quote, always extremely honest. And he said that he would let Earl run the business for him when he couldn't work when his wife got cancer. Oh. That's how honest he is. But on the first day of the sentencing hearing also, several women testify that Earl either sexually assaulted or terrorized them in the past.
Yeah.
One of them said that he initiated sex with her when she was 12 years old.
God.
Another one said that Earl dragged her into the kitchen of his home in the late 1970s, held a gun to her head, and then fired a shot into the floor. In a sexual assault, this was to get her to not run away. During closing arguments, though, they said that he was suffering from mental illness because they brought psychiatrists in, dueling psychiatrists. Yeah. One said he's delusional as fuck. He doesn't know where he is. He wants to help with the defense, but he doesn't know how to. And then the other guy went, he's just kind of an asshole. Technically, medically, I would say he's a jerk off.
Yeah.
But as a person, I'd say he's an asshole. It's one of those things.
He sounds sick as fuck to me.
Yeah, I would say.
Certainly sick.
Well, the lawyer in his closing said, quote, the defense lawyer, I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, do you think he's cured now? Do you think he got this out of his system because he's killed 4 people? Do you think the issue's gone? That's what the prosecutor said that. They're like, no, he's going to kill more.
I was like, the defense said that?
Jesus. Not a good defense.
No, that guy hates him.
He's dangerous.
He's going to do it again.
Right now. To one of your kids, probably. So the jury deliberates for 2.5 hours before recommending the maximum 4 life. You, sir, may fuck off 4 life sentences for the lesser charges, and then the next day is going to be whether
he is so fucked.
Whether he's going to get the
they're giving him that for the lesser shit.
Yeah, which was still murder. Yeah. Those are all murders, but for each of the 3 first-degree murder convictions, it's life imprisonment and a $100,000 fine. So he also owes the state $300,000 somehow.
Right.
The arson conviction is life in prison and a $100,000 fine. The court suspended the fine for that. Hey, we'll take 3, but not 4.
$300,000. The guy can't even afford a tailgate that matches.
Oh, shit. And for the 3 firearms convictions, 13 years in prison. So the Randy Hodges, who is Blaine's brother, he shouted when the jury said guilty. He shouted thank you and stood up and was escorted from the court. As he was dragged out by bailiffs, he turned to Earl and said, burn in hell, and fucking got dragged out.
I love him.
Yep. They talked to him outside about getting dragged out, and he said, quote, it was worth it. Yeah. What a relief. Didn't give a fuck. I got to hear the part I wanted. Fuck you. Love that attitude. That's great. It was worth it. Do it again. So Teresa's brother, Tom, her brother-in-law, Tom, said, today is the first time in 3 years we're going to have some justice. So the death sentencing comes back, and it's pretty much the same testimony.
Yeah.
6 men and 6 women. They deliberate for 78 minutes before coming back with their decision. You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for Earl. Earl is getting death for that. Now, a few months later, okay, they're looking for Tammy and Angela.
Right.
Now they know where he's been and where he was in the 70s, and they kind of have more of a hold on him. There's a point here where Tammy's brother is able to gain access to the home where Earl's family lived at the time of Tammy and Angela's disappearance.
That's awesome.
Different people live there now. He talks his way into the house.
Yep.
He discovered in the basement, in the back, had been closed off from the rest of the basement with a stone wall, okay? That the area had been closed off, was now only accessible through a narrow opening in the floor of the master bedroom closet above. It's the only way to get to this.
It's got like a dungeon?
Yeah, someone would need to be lowered through the hole to access the area. They'd have to break out the floor and be lowered through the hole. This area also contained a laundry chute, and Tammy's family could come up with their family said, the family that was there was like, I don't know why anyone would block this off.
Yeah.
There'd be no reason to block this off. Like, why would you fucking do that? Why would you put a place where you can't get to?
Also, this house is now for sale.
Yeah.
I want the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and they said that possibly there's a dirt floor in there, and they say that's where they think these girls are. Tammy's sister recalls being in the basement before, right when the house was built, and the basement was open with no inner walls. So that was built then.
After, yeah.
The owners of the property at that time, though, didn't want their basement dug up. They were like, you're not tearing our basement apart. We just bought the house. Fuck you.
Right.
So, someone who claims to have been a child living in the home in the 90s recalls cadaver dogs coming to search the property at that time. The family dug around some with a shovel as well, but it wasn't possible to dismantle the concrete basement walls without fucking damaging the house. You destroy the house, the foundation of the house. So the family no longer lives there, but the child says that the child who lived there at the time said there was 2 bizarre concrete slabs in the basement which were described as coffin-sized. This is fucking disturbing.
That's bizarre.
So, 8 months after he's sent to death row, authorities dig up that yard of the house. They dig up the yard. They found nothing. They dug up the entire fucking yard. They found nothing. And the current owners would not give them permission to dig up their basement because this would destroy the house, and they needed permission. You couldn't just court order it for some reason. There wasn't enough evidence that it was all voluntary. It was just on a whim.
Yeah.
And they said nope. So they've never dug up that corner of the basement. And we don't know if that's where Tammy and Angela are. They could be in this fucking basement.
They could do like infrared radar.
Now they can do it like they do in fucking...
Do a sweep of radar.
But they haven't.
You can find shit underground that...
They haven't.
Wow.
He said that he was drunk when he made the statement about hurting Tammy at that party and that his comment was misinterpreted. Okay. He says, though, that Tammy died in a bonfire in Central Florida in 1980, and the police have known about it and tried to cover it up. And there was a girl who died in a bonfire in Florida who went by the nickname of Tammy, but that's not her actual name, and they did tests, and it's not Tammy.
Got it.
So, yeah. Now, on appeal, Jesus Christ, on appeal here, they reject his ineffective assistance of counsel claims and shit like that. That's his basic, appeal there, the first appeal. It's a sentence is affirmed. January of 2000, remember Tracy Turner?
Right.
The cellmate?
That fella.
He recants his whole thing.
Oh, you dick.
He said, no, dude never told him any of that shit. He changed it in an affidavit filed in court. He said he lied because he was scared of going to prison, and the police promised him
God damn it,
less
Tracy.
of a sentence. He said, I'm coming forward and telling the truth now because I cannot live with what I have done or what I've helped others to do. Which, I mean, if you're that guy, you don't know that family, you just felt like you put somebody in the electric chair. That's that's a rough thing to have on your head if that's not someone who you are. They promised him a drug treatment program and reduced prison time in exchange for testimony, he said in the affidavit. They said, quote, you could have a whole, this is the attorney, the district attorney. He said you could have a whole choir of snitches coming in and saying one thing at trial, and everyone coming back later saying they didn't mean it. But that doesn't mean anything. I didn't think Tracy Turner was an important witness to the case. I don't really think it either. I think he's getting convicted either way. But still,
he said he has addiction to kids. That's not.
That's what I mean. Well, he did say that he described the murder of how he did it,
right,
but people already. We would have got there without him.
I don't think that's true anyway. But
no.
The fact is, there's
I hate these prison snitch shit. Right. They're never true.
His prison parsley is right next to the kids. It's enough.
That's right there.
That's gross.
Yep. So, he said that this basically doesn't mean anything, and this happens in every murder case. Somebody will come up and recant testimony. Sure. That doesn't mean that all the evidence was bullshit. So 2001, more appeals here quickly. He said it was all circumstantial evidence against him. It had all been planted or fabricated. Yeah. Now he's saying his pubic hair sample was taken before the authorities located the hair on the girl's bed and that they planted the pubic hair there. Okay. That's what he's saying. He's also saying that his tape recordings have been altered to give the impression that he was attracted to Winter and liked young girls.
Okay.
Now, no.
Right.
Also, he said they didn't get a change of venue. He doesn't think he could couldn't get a fair trial. Ineffective assistance of counsel. Also brings up Michael Fulcher, talking about, the brother-in-law who set up all these drug kingpins and all this type of shit. He says the Virginia State Police were investigating Fulcher for drug dealing and money laundering and, all of that sort of shit. Now, he was in jail at this time. He can't demonstrate prejudice for his default claim because the failure to disclose this information did not violate Brady because it didn't matter because it had nothing to do with the case. You can't say it's not Brady as they withheld information from the defense that was exculpatory for them. But you can't say everything that every family member's ever done is somehow exculpatory evidence toward you. Right. You know what I mean? Teresa wasn't involved in it, so it doesn't make any fucking sense. So, also he brings up Benjamin Carr. Okay. This is the first time Benjamin Carr's name's been mentioned.
Yeah.
He claimed that the state withheld information regarding the possible involvement of Benjamin Carr in the murders. In support of the claim, he says that he gets affidavits from a couple of friends of Benjamin Carr's. According to this woman named Judith, Judith Sinnett, Carr contacted her in 1995 or 1996 and offered to, quote, ice Robert's former employer like the family on Virginia Avenue. So Judith took this statement to mean that Carr claimed responsibility for the Hodges murders, which I don't think so.
Sounds like he's
threatening a similar thing.
Based on what I heard about over there.
That's what I would say, too. Yeah, if I said, I'm going to go Jeffrey Dahmer on your ass, you'd think...
I wouldn't say James did all the Jeffrey Dahmers.
Yeah, he'd go, James wants to drill holes in my head and rape my zombie corpse.
Somebody killed Jeffrey Dahmer, and they should have gotten James.
Yeah, fuck. Dude, this is bad.
Have there been a lot of Filipinos disappearing in Phoenix?
I have to go now. Show's over. Thanks, everybody.
I gotta go.
So, yeah, Judith mentioned her conversation to Carr with a friend who is a police officer in Vinton on the assumption that the Carr's statement to Judith was exculpatory. They're saying that made it so that's him admitting to it. Earl should be set free.
Okay.
That's what he says. They said, no, not quite. It's affirmed, but not without strong dissent. There is someone dissenting hardcore about... Because, okay, this is one of those things. When you add up all the little pieces of evidence that are there, it adds up to he did this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's pretty fucking clear that he did this.
Pretty strong.
Pretty fucking strong, especially his actions cement it afterwards. Right. But the problem is, at the same time, it's like, okay, it looks like he did it, but at the same time, there's all these little pieces of evidence on the other side of impropriety.
Sure.
Which shades that, which makes it look like shit. That's why it's
imperative to have
corners.
Right. You have to have quality police work.
You need quality police work, quality prosecutorial work, because otherwise this shit fucking happens when you don't dot your I's and cross your T's and you cut fucking corners.
Right.
Because it's even if you're right, cutting corners does not work, because then people can say shit like this and it holds water because you fucked up. That's why OJ didn't get convicted, because they were fucked up. They cut corners, and that's what happens. It looks shady after a while. So they're talking about that the pink or red pickup truck here is another reason. Jurors could have said that they could have acquitted him on that alone. They were saying there the murder weapon was never conclusively identified. Expert testimony that the unfired bullets found at the murder scene and among Bramblett's belongings came from the same melt or lot appears less important than the prosecution claimed. It's like we said, that could have been anyone buying that. Jurors could have believed that more than one person in the same town might have gone to the local store and bought ammunition from the same lot. Only physical evidence linking him to the crime was a single pubic hair matched to him through DNA that was discovered in the girl's bed. Wow. Bramblett was a frequent visitor to the Hodges household. Thus, the hair could have been blown onto the bed by the large fans used by firefighters or by air coming through an open window.
Okay.
This isn't a fucking Disney thing with a feather one magic
It's Forrest Gump.
One fucking pube floats along the
Right.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
How about the murder plan that he sketched and threw in a trash can?
That's a judge that wrote that.
Wow.
Not a lawyer. Wow. That's one of the Supreme Court justices of Virginia fucking wrote those words, that the pube could have floated there magically and landed in between them.
Can we look at anything that man's done before?
Right? What the fuck, man? So all sorts of Bramblett's statements to the police that he thought he'd be arrested for the murder. I don't know why that helps him. Fifth, he said that despite the prosecution's arguments that his obsession about Winter was the motive for the crime, the prosecution presents no evidence that Winter or her sister was sexually assaulted. So, yeah, all of that. But that doesn't matter because he's still convicted. He appeals for clemency here as it gets closer to execution time.
He's begging.
Well, yeah, the attorney said in their clemency petition that the recanted testimony from Tracy Turner that linked him to the murders should be enough to warrant a new trial, at least. And they also said the prosecution said the defense team was grasping at anything and everything because all the evidence pointed at Earl. So Governor Mark Warner denies his request for clemency there. U.S. Supreme Court also denies a request for a stay. And both the Virginia Supreme Court and the U.S. District Court in Roanoke both all reject last-minute arguments by the attorneys that the electric chair amounts to cruel and unusual punishment.
They want to give him that?
No, they want to give him lethal injection.
Okay.
He chose the electric chair as a form of protest, he said.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll light you up.
Well, that's right. So it's a homemade oak chair that's been in use since 1908. We should have nothing in use that's been in use since 1908, especially if it's fucking electrical. Right. If you had a toaster in your house and it had been, this is a toaster from 1908, you would throw that thing out in a second or rip the cord out and put it up as like a relic.
I would take it to an antique shop and sell it.
Yeah, I would not try to make a toast in it.
No.
I'm going to burn my house down.
I'm going to put my sourdough in there.
Fuck no. But they're going to do this. They tested it once a month. They said they just test it once a month just to see. Still working. He will be the third inmate to die in the chair since 1995 when lethal injection became an option. 61 people have been executed by lethal injection in Virginia since then. And this is in 2003 we're talking about. One guy was guy who killed his wife and infant son, and then another guy who killed 4 people in a robbery. So he writes a letter here. A letter to Douglas C. Graham, who's a private investigator and who's an author later on, who he talks to all through this, and this guy is convinced of his innocence. He's written multiple books.
What?
Fictionalized books that are stories of the town setting up some guy. It's the story of Earl slightly changed to, quote, fictionalize it. So he doesn't have to give anybody money, I guess. I don't know.
Look, man, I don't have the ins and outs and legal documents pretty open and shut here.
This is...
How do you...
I've looked into this a lot. He fucking did this.
This guy's pretty proud of himself.
Yeah. He called in the letter, Earl called the execution an assassination. Thinks awfully highly of himself. If the option of life in prison were offered, he wrote, that he would still choose to die. If I have to sign to accept life, I'm out of here. It's adios, amigo. They're just going to have to kill me. He says that he picked the electric chair as a form of protest. He said, I hope the SOBs who put me here will never forget what they see. If that's revenge, then I suppose it is. But perhaps those who just went along and any other decent people out there will be so influenced or affected that they will look into my case. So the family of Teresa's sister, her niece, Sarah, said that she planned to attend the execution along with her mother, who was Teresa's sister. She said, quote, a lot of pain and suffering will die with Earl Bramblett tonight. Nothing that we are going to see this evening will be any worse than what he did to them.
Yeah.
His last meal...
I love this.
He requested no last meal.
You selfish son of a bitch.
How dare he not know we'd be interested in this later?
He was
He does eat dinner.
Unselfish coach, really?
Yeah.
You're the most selfish son of a bitch on earth.
He does eat the same dinner as all the other inmates.
Yeah.
Sloppy Joes, boiled potatoes, corn, and chocolate cake.
Hey,
dry chocolate cake, and I'm sure... Imagine what prison sloppy joes are like. Those are not good.
It is slop.
It's just slop. It's viscone or whatever the fuck that was. Viscose.
That's what holds it together.
That's it. April 9th, 2003 is Execution Day. Earl spends not that we're... it just sounded like...
I'm kind of celebrating.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not dancing about it, but
honestly,
it's just
fuck him.
Something I wanted to say in that voice. Execution. It's got... enough syllables to sing it.
Yeah.
He spent a few hours with his family there, and then they bring him out there. It's 1,800 volts that they're putting through him.
Yeah.
They have a key thing they have to turn.
Yep.
His last words, quote, I didn't murder the Hodges family. I never murdered anybody. I'm going to go to my death with a clear conscience. I'm going to go to my death having a great life because of my 2 sons, Mike and Doug. That's what he said.
I got thoughts, James. That's the most fucking that's a lie, and he's convincing himself so that he feels better sitting down. But what a horrible thing to say out loud, knowing
what I mean.
Knowing all the evidence.
Fuck yeah!
What a terrible thing to say out loud.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Fuck you.
Causing more pain to the family. Fuck
that's
this
what
guy.
he wants to do. This guy's a dickhead. Well, the niece there, she's the spokesperson for the family. She says something pretty good here. She says, quote, Mr. Bramblett is a pedophile, a cold, calculated murderer, and he has a deviant appetite for young girls. I do not feel this family massacre was the first murder he ever committed, and if he was ever released, it would not be the last. He's a threat to society.
Right.
We don't know what he's done. Right. If he killed Tammy and Angela in 77, between 77 and 94, he's a drifter, dude.
Right.
He was drifting.
You know, when you get arrested, James, and you get acquitted, and the next ones, you got to make sure there's no witnesses. That's what he did.
Dude, I have like goosebumps because he was drifting.
Right.
He would have, he could have, it's not just there. He was everywhere. Right. He'd go off for 2 weeks, just going and driving for 2 weeks. Who knows who he left in the desert, in the woods, in a cornfield? Who the fuck knows what this guy has done? It's ridiculous. So, they said that they were, they were lucky. They said that he was lucky that his death wasn't worse. Yeah. The niece there said, quote, I thought that it was going to be much worse. I don't want to sound like a horrible person, but what he got was not as bad as what Teresa went through. I really thought he got off light. So the author and that private investigator is Douglas Chandler Graham, and he has a couple of books. He's like fucking 90 years old. And he used to be a cop in Roanoke in the 50s and like was in all sorts of other shit. He never knew the Hodges there. And he didn't know the Bramblets either, but I guess they started corresponding at some point. He has this website. There's this fucking website that's basically, here's why Earl's innocent. And it is just pages of fucking, the police did this and the police did that and they framed him this way and they did it that way. And he actually is a great guy and he would have never molested any kids. And he told this and it's like multiple kids said he molested them or tried to or something. And he's saying all this shit. I'm not buying it.
I don't believe him at all.
I'm not fucking buying it. He wrote and self-published two they call them thinly fictionalized novels about the case. One is called Smoke and Murders, and it's set in the town of Vineyard instead of Vinton, and covers a span from the time of the crime until the beginning of the trial. And the second book, Three Trailers Down, picks up the trial's end when new intrigue of the case arise in Vineyard in the wake of all that shit.
I bet there's a Three Doors Down cover band called that.
Here's Smoke and Murders. There's their Amazon thing I found.
Boy, that's a lot of 1 star.
2.1 out of 5 stars and 73% 1-star reviews. So I don't know if that's the family or if the book sucks or what, but I wasn't buying it because fuck that guy.
That is overwhelmingly disapproved of.
Yep. And on a serious note, and obviously people probably don't, but if some miracle somebody has any information about Angela May Rader or Tammy Lynn Akers, people are still looking for these girls and they'd still like some closure on it. You can contact the Roanoke Police Department at 540-853-2212. The case number is 77-15978.
What do you think that house
that's
is
for an
worth,
email.
Where that's
you
at?
You can do that. The house that
he used to live in.
Probably 160 grand.
Probably.
Something like that, 150 grand. I mean, should we chip in and destroy it?
Is it worth starting a GoFundMe
should we
to
raise
buy
this
that
fucking house
place
to find
and
it?
Dig it up?
Well, I would do that.
I would love to.
Do we want to do that?
I would love to start a GoFundMe, buy that fucking house, and let's dig it.
I'm going to look into to make sure that no one's already done that, and make sure no one's dug, because I couldn't find it. And anything,
I'd love that.
If no one has done that yet, let's try to do that. Yeah. Honestly, let's find out what it is.
The house
Obviously,
can't be worth shit. We do a fucking housing report.
Yeah, well, we'd have to find out what it is, how much it costs, if it's owned by someone who wants to sell it, and all that sort of shit first. But if it's at all possible, we'll do the research. And if it's possible, we're going to come back and we're going to get a GoFundMe together. I'm not fucking kidding.
Let's buy it.
And we are going to buy that fucking house, and we are going to destroy it.
Right.
Well, not destroy it, but we're going to fuck that basement up, and we're going to find out just to give the goddamn family a second to go, okay, at least they're not there. At least we don't have to know that they might be right in that house and I can't get to them, which would be fucking mind-boggling.
That's crazy.
That would drive me crazy. So it's driving me crazy now, and I'm not there. They're not my kids.
That's all.
So,
I mean, there's more evidence that they're there than evidence that they're not.
That's what I mean. It's the only place.
Why would there be a wall up in there?
That's so fucking weird. Yeah. So I don't know, man, but that, everybody, is Vinton, Virginia. Yeah. That is one wild ass fucking tale. I gotta say,
awful.
I can't put it any other way. At first, like I said, I wasn't aware of the whole second part of that until I got into it more. I'm like, oh no, there's more.
He's a terrible man, I guarantee.
Terrible man.
And he's dead.
And he's dead now, so fuck him. Yeah. If you like that story, we're not dead. You can give us a review. Help us out over at Apple Podcasts. That purple icon. Doesn't matter what you say. Just give us 5 stars. You have to say something. And it takes 30 seconds. Way harder to dig up the basement of a house. And we're going to try to do it.
I want to do it.
I want to do it, too.
I want to be there with a shovel.
For me, too. I want to be right there. I'm not going to want to hear about it. I want to do it. What the fuck's in there? What's that? I want to know. So, anyway, I don't want to find it, though. No. That's the other thing.
I want to be there and be like, fuck, we're 6 feet deep. There's no way the body's here.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to, not that we want them to be dead. I'd rather both girls ran away from their families and lived nice lives.
I want them in the south of France on a beach just laughing.
Yeah, I hope they're like, they'd be almost 60 years old right now. I hope they're like, nearing retirement and doing, I really hope that, but I honestly don't think that. Yeah. So, but that's sad. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder. Like we said, more information on the all violent felon edition of the prisoner dating game. That's hard to say. That we will be doing as a virtual live show on the 29th. That's a Thursday of October. So we'll have more information on that, and we'll put that up on the site too when we have that.
Right.
You can get tickets to other live shows, all your merch, anything like that you want. You should also listen to PS I Hate This Movie on Fridays. What else here? Follow us on social media. Very easy to do that. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. So you can find us there at Murder Small on Twitter. I say that right?
That is right.
Yes. Okay, good. So there's that. Follow us there. If you want even more of us for some reason, you can do that very easily as well. Get on Patreon, patreon.com/crime and sports. We're telling you guys, those Patreon episodes are fucking crazy.
They're so much fun.
They're so much fun. We laugh our asses off through those things. So I look at the Patreon episodes as like a comedy album.
Yeah, it's just fun.
So like an hour 15.
Right.
You get like 4 of them a month. Yeah. Like you would pay $5 for a great comedy album or to see a great comedy special or something. Not that this is we're not saying we're a great comedy special, but you'll laugh as much as you would at a comedy special. I can promise you that.
Right.
I dare you to listen to those personal ads that we did for Crime and Sports here. The personal classifieds.
I assure you there's a laugh in there.
And not laugh. Yeah. I fucking challenge you to do it. It's worth $5.
Right.
So do that, honestly. That's patreon.com/crime and sports. And Jimmy will mispronounce your name at the end of the show.
You betcha.
What more could you ask for there? And if you just want to be a great person and donate because you like the show and you like us and you want to be a producer and you want to have your name mispronounced, you can do that also over at PayPal using our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. And with all that said, Jimmy, I need to hear it right now. After that crazy story, I need one good thing to come out of it.
All right.
Hit me with the names of the greatest goddamn people in the world that keep our lives going and make them better every day. I want them now.
This week's executive producers are Beth Whittlesey. I think she donated both ways for me to misspell her name.
Misspell it twice.
Whittlesey? Thank you so much, Beth. You're amazing. Jennifer Visconti, Joanne Ahern, who also wrote us a letter a couple weeks ago and thanked us for talking about MS. Because we were sensitive to it, which I don't know how
we
couldn't
be. Yeah, I don't know. I guess because we have experience.
Fucked up shit. Yeah. Hang in there,
fuck
Joanne.
MS,
You're amazing.
Man. Yeah. Quit being a bitch.
Matthew Molina, happy birthday, Claire Molina. 29 for life is what I'm told.
Sweet.
It's not
46.
Yeah, right. It's a
happy birthday.
It's a Rat's later song when they retired. Linda Campbell, Michelle Gilbert, Ian Hurley, Jordan Bennett, of course, thank you. Jeff Watson, Buffy Sykes, Jordan Covington, Shelley Ann Barnard. I don't know. Carolyn Fia, Holly Hunslow, Chris Bartolini, Tamara Carpenter, an unemployed history major also, and Amber Denicky, I think. Thank you so much,
thank
you guys. You're fucking incredible.
Absolutely.
Other producers this week are Holly Heyman, Steve Schnell, Eric Thompson, Brielle with no last name, Ryan McGowan, Thomas Smith, Jade Armstrong, Brendan Abels, Leslie Ward, Ashley Vio, Carl Doyle, Terry Staudinger.
One of our old buddies on there.
Good tons of them. Spencer Ludman, Melissa Turner, Winter Hubbock, Brad Peters, Elizabeth Arnold, Julia Duncan, Jaden Patterman, Russ T. Medina. Got it. That's why, because I'm an idiot.
Okay.
Kristen Ems, Brad Peters, I think I said that. Molly Duncan, Mary Wood, Christer, Craig Cole, Jude Doyle, Nikki Batchelor, Jade with no last name, Ryan with no last name, Keith Marler, I think, Marrier.
Yeah.
Sarah Vresk, John DeLong, Michelle with no last name, Morgan Baker, Michael Molito, Jenny Bradford, Gabrielle Rebus, Liz Vasquez, Samantha Hedinger, Taylor Ferris, Stephanie with no last name, Heather Cox, Peyton Meadows, Melody Agofa, Teo. Oh, it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Melody. LaDonna Little Elk. I hope she's native and that's a cool fucking name. Carrie with no last name, Ed Barrier, Stephen Clay Camp, Susan Olgis. Happy birthday, Jessica Stope. She's down in Florida, right? She moved down there and married somebody? Or she moved to Pittsburgh? I think he moved.
Sounds familiar.
The guy from PA moved there, right?
I couldn't remember.
I think that's true. Stephen Claycamp, I said that. Teddy Martin, Amy Fry, Jennifer Sorensen, Sherry Nisi, James Martyr, Michael Kelso, thanks buddy, appreciate you, Somali 53, Jenny Hand, Christoph Johan, I think that's right, Joan, Elizabeth Cieslick, happy birthday, Charlene Esteve, or Esteve, I'm not sure, Andrew Gillen, Chris Buchek, Samilja, probably not. Brandon Allen, Tina Geschwender. There's not enough vowels in that one.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Jerry Fairchild, Jimmy's Viagra dealer, obviously. Maddie Johnson, Stephanie Griffiths, or Griffiths. Rick Daniels, Brendan Keating, Steve Randell, Janice Hill, Chris Hunter, Emma Morris, Selena Goldworth, Angela Cornman, it's probably Cornman, and Mandy Knight, Todd Alton, Mason Dubois, Jagged Little Quill, Destiny with no last name, Renee with no last name, Selena Schmidtka, Jude Kendall, Derek Donato, yep, Lauren Gray, Brad Kobler, Jordan Martin, Katarzyna Niedzolka, I think, Alexander Sudkamp, Chris Henson, Jacqueline Pierney, well, fuck, Grant Bodmer, God damn it, Corey Cabone, happy birthday, Kim Duggar Baker, and also Tiffany Gonzalez. Thank you guys so much. Courtney Pask, Kevin Wright, we're running through it. Logan Hartley, what is this? Sagan Wet? No, that's not right either. Hannah Adams, what is this? Jake Young, I don't know how to pronounce that, but her boyfriend said that could net him a really amazing blowjob.
Wow. Good luck. Good luck to you, sir.
Go get Jake Young. I don't know. That's as best as I got. Bill Jacobson, Derek Bentley, JJ Kaiser, Alexandra Lamb, Connor Niven, Robert McEwen, and Antoinette Eads, Shelley Porterfield, T. Wicks, Haas her. Will Hunt, Christoph, what is that? What did I do? Chris Dix, Chris D. L. Robinson, I think. Krista, maybe. I don't know. Paige, Shag, what have I done? Shagaman Jones. Kelly, what is this? Kelly Brenneman, Chanda Harbor, Cody Ennis, Damian Cabrera, Sarah Overstein Calvert, God damn it, Diane, what did I do? Antonopoulos, Jennifer Sewell Shifo, Ali Arabsky, Cameron Nugent, Jason Zachary, Morgan Brantley, Tyrone Bliss, Tiffany Wonder, Joel Brenneman, Melissa Sanborn, Douglas Conradi, Catherine Garger, Corey Campers, Lisa C., Brianna Ryan, Essence Smith Maxwell, I think. Nope, probably not. Jacqueline Jones, Demelza Brown, Jenny Bukowski, Rebecca Klosters, Jamie with no last name, Haley with no last name, Elizabeth Stanton Johansson, nope, that's Johnson, Cheryl Malone, Jake, Pryanovich, Crosby with no last name, Jamie with no last name, Joe Hogan, Brian, what is this? Brian Torres, Bogdan, Gilmut Tadov.
Wow, you're getting a lot of multi-syllabic names here. There's a lot of things happening.
Tia Moretti, Liz Smith, Michelle Barnes, Sabina with no last name, Cloud9, check left hook, Tristan Armbrister, Kira Stewart, Jamie Floyd, Abby Crago, Chris Moore, Joshua Smith, Perpetual Coin Toss, Amanda Spice, Shelley Frells, I think, Adriana Moraga, James Magnuson, Sarah Davidson, Jeffrey Linden, Neil Annis. I say
Neil and his anus. Thank you for your cash.
Choco Bear Gaming. I think he's a comedian in New York. I think that's the right person.
Well,
Christopher Satizabal, shit, Colby Schaefer, Jason Christensen. Thanks, Jason. Hope you and the wife are doing well. And the kids, David Becca Breedy, Mary Brune, Cam Bob, Chris Johnson, Liz S., Lee Canali, Dina Riendu. Nope. Alexander McCraig, Darth Cheeto, Jessica Carol. Courtney Smith, Micah Shy, Kristen with no last name, Connard 1717, Ashley McAuliffe. I hope that's wasn't that the teacher's name that was on the shuttle? McAuliffe?
No.
Yeah. McAuliffe.
Was it?
Right?
I don't remember.
Fuck.
Something.
I think it's McAuliffe.
Something.
I think it's McAuliffe. Christine Zavaldi, Alabama Sassafras, Kayleen Kirsch, Jekyll Logan, Jarrell, Patience Carpe, Megan Williams, Sydney Vittori.
Christina McAuliffe. Krista
McAuliffe. That's
Sharon
it.
Krista McAuliffe.
There you go. That's Karen Lelm, Rachel Thompson, Yvonne Abrahantes, Patience. I said that. God damn it, Patience Whisman. Holly Levinson, that's another one. Katie Rages.
You said that.
I know.
You said that, so you looked over at me and went, that's another one. like we had 3 names and you were naming, you think that's enough? How about that's one more?
Holly Levinson, take that. Carolina Vavatskova.
Very arrogant that was toward me. Like, what do you think of that, asshole?
Abby last name. Thank you, Abby. Adam Dugdale, TJ Butner, Kate Stewart, Kara Kowalczyk, Sam Keehan, Pavlis Basaficius. His wife's going through some shit, and I really appreciated his email. Thank you, Pavlisis. I apologize for not being able to say your name, man.
Thank you, Pablo Licious.
Corey McKinnon, James Stein, Kathy and James, Steve Coons. Anthony Kirachuk, nope. Homer Nunez, Brandon Guffrin, nope. Michael Clark, Olivia Fort, or Fart. It's not Fart, is it? No, it's not. Cassidy Moore, Lauren Green.
Thank you, Ms. Fott. Ms. Foss.
Pamela Dennis, Neil with no last name, Katie Hayward Mullins, Maureen Montgomery, Nicole Gattoni, Jenny with no last name, Anita Dunn, Gagan Sats, Kunlapa, no, none of these are real, Gary Treasenberg, Joy Amelia, Jamie Hasty, Lucia Judge, Tim LaPlante, Clayton Crowley, Stephanie Gonzalez, Ivy with no last name, Joshua Gilb, Ben Mounts, Brittany Vile, her last name really is Vile, Lori Christian, Ben with no last name, what did I do here? Laura, nope, that's Eric, Shively, Mike Johnson, Jessica Schwind, Carrie Schmidt-Swan, Aaron Nesbitt, Sam Hartop, Deb Compton, Lee Hibbler, Tony, nope, yeah, that is Tony McDomick, Catherine Perry, Jacqueline Goff, Matthew Forehand, Lynn Clunder, Amy Dickens, Angela Rosenberg, Timothy McGuire, Joanne Penn, Kristen Bull, Ellie Babineau, Boobian, what? Rhino, Carla Wood, Laura Shantz, Kristen, nope, that's Christian Yeats, John McCown, Jill Fry, Christine Rushford, Melissa with no last name, Kenny Alawia, Paul Burns, Brian Poe, Deidre Solberg, Sherry Adams, and also then there's 2 last ones. Who are they? God damn it, what have I done here? They are Nicole Ellis and then Buffy Sykes. You guys are terrific. Thank you guys so much for everything you do.
Thank you, everybody, so much.
Yeah.
And we are really serious about that house thing, by the way. That is... We're going to look into it. Yep. I'm going to find out where it is, what house it is, if it's available, if it's been searched.
I want to dig it.
None of this shit has been done. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
There's enough of us, and not even us, there's enough people out there that don't even listen to the show that would be probably interested to help in this sort of thing, to find these, for closure, for Christ's sake.
Fuck finding murderers. Let's find the victims.
Let's find the victims. Right. I mean, let's do it, man. I mean, I don't care. It's a little extra work for us, but it seems worth it. So.
I don't want to be near the murderer anyway.
No, fuck that guy. So, gross. That guy's gross. I don't want to talk to him. So, yeah, let's do that. And how can people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you
Matt
about
Whisman sucks, WHISMAN sucks on Twitter and Instagram. That's all. Where are you?
You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny. Just copy and paste my name. It's a lot easier. And with that said, everybody, it's been a wild week.
Oh, boy.
Can't wait for next week. But for now, everybody, until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus